Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag, I do this shit for real. When we was down and we had nothing, we had to share a meal. We put the shit in overdrive with no steering wheel. Shorty throw that thing back in a pair of heels. Yeah, she be riding on that thing like a Ferris wheel. Yeah, I love them dark skin, brown skin, caramel. You know I had to bring it to the hood like she Karen Civil when she keep on turning head. Cause when she walk that thing jiggle, jiggle. And we going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, yeah, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, back in my bag flow. Back again, yeah, we keep on stacking it, what's happening? Everything in Gucci got me feeling like I'm dapper then. Life has been a movie, yeah, so shout out to the cameraman. Pull up to the scene, it's going down like an avalanche. Steady going up like a travel plan. Homer Simpson face, lucky power plant. Yeah, I'm off that dope, like I'm back again to Vizzy. At the Millies, out on Club Hurst. Give the word if it's a cinch, Lord forgive me. Still having motion, dog, so why would I slow it? Make it rain on them, bust a band, then you throw it. We was steady having it, even at our lowest. High speed road runner, keep my motor going. Hey, people feel away, but they don't show it. Gotta watch the people that's around you, that you grow it. They be coming around you with some plans to steal your moment. Soon as I bust a nut, she be like, baby, where you going? Never slowing down, it's enough to go around. Yeah, you probably knew it's then, but really you don't know it's now. Niggas let it show and tell, but all my niggas know me well. It was either chase a dream or go to jail, but none of us ain't going. Going back to back on them like we Huey and we Riley. This that back in my back, low, we back again so highly. This that back in my back, low, we back to change the climate. This that back in my back, low, we bring the force like Tommy. Back in my back flow. Back in my, back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, I'm back in my bag, yeah. I'm back in my, back in my bag flow,
Yeah, not for real. cards in my hand, got the world in a spin. Javon's night flicks, let the show begin. Every move sharp like the edge I hold. Stories untold, sharper than gold. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back. Clicks and views, yeah, they fly like sparks. Knives in the dark, carving out my mark. From ballad songs flipping to the sickest tricks. Javon's night flicks where legends are lit. Every video's fresh like a polished blade. Precision and grind, that's how dreams get paid. Cutting through limits, breaking the streak. Javon on the rise, every fan's heartbeat. From tutorials fire to unboxings insane. Content so slick you won't leave the lane. Blood, sweat, crips stealing every flick. And Javon's world sharp is the only pick. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back. You files in the word. What a wait. Late night creeps where the shadows grin. Javon's in the cut, let the games begin. With a flick of the blade, we dive in the sin. It's a marathon groove, not a race to win. The clock don't sleep, the knives don't pause. Chasing thrills, no time for applause. The world spins mad on Javon's claws, where the edge cuts deep in the night's great jaws. Sit and spin under the neon glow. Wide awake where the insomniacs go. Feel the steel flash, let the adrenaline flow. Javon's night flicks, it's the live late show. It's the live late show. Right. It's the live late show. We're too sharp to dull, too fast to catch. Each blade is the spark making midnight hatch. In the zone we own on this Twitch dispatch, where the world sits still but the vibes still match. Time's a blur in the sleepless den. Every move's a twist, that slice in the zen. Javon's got the rhythm, the pulse of man. Locked in the spin till the morning end. Sit and spin under the neon glow. Wide awake where the insomniacs go. Feel the steel flash, let the adrenaline flow. Javon's night flicks, it's the live late show. It's the live late show. With a wake, with a ride. It's the live late show. It's the live late show. Yeah. It's the live late show. Yeah. Till the morning.
If you were to follow a busy doctor as he makes his daily round of calls, you'd find yourself having a mighty busy time keeping up with him. Time out for many men of medicine usually means just long enough to enjoy a cigarette. And because they know what a pleasure it is to smoke a mild, good-tasting cigarette, they're...
Cigarettes and whiskey. That's what that was about. Cigarettes and whiskey. What's going on, guys? Welcome. Look at that. Edgy American Blade Works. What a good guy. Came in. I think he came in last night or early this morning after I set up. Love me some Edgy American. Shane. Let me start up here and say hey to everybody, and we will roll. I noticed Cole ended a little bit ago. Can y'all hear me okay? I'm hearing weirdness in my ears. I'll go to the bottom and see if anybody's like, I can't hear you. What's up, Richard? I would start at the bottom. Ryan, what's going on, brother? Be shady. I'm hearing a weird echo, but that just could be my shit. Ron Crow is in the house. My brother Paul Mills. Good to see you, Paul. Joseph S. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've actually got some stuff to look through tonight to show you guys. Autumn Wind, what is up? Good to see you. Minda Milton, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are here for a little bit at least. I know it's late. I know it's Tuesday, kind of before midweek satisfaction, but I don't know. I think I like these late night low key lives. Whether they go 3 hours, they go longer. It just depends on, it's kind of a just in time. What's up? It's kind of what's everybody's up to, right? So I've got stuff knife wise. I wanted to share with you guys some stuff that came in today and some stuff that came in yesterday that I started filming today. That was part of a Tuya pass around. I'm really digging the Tuya knives that I've been checking out. And what I think is cool about them, and we'll look at them in a second, but they're quality knives and they're priced under $200 in most cases. Titanium S90V, titanium M390. Some of them are Dave Warren's, who's Tuya's USA partner rep. Designs, and then a couple of them are Tuya designs. Neil McKenzie, hello, brother. Blade Shooter G, hello, my man. I think I said hey to Richard. If not, hey again, Richard. Hey, Neil McKenzie, good to see you. But I had several come in, and I think I'm going to start with the wackiest of all of them. And I love an overbuilt knife, right? And I love knives that are, in my opinion, original. And this one's unique in several different ways. This is called the Tuya Vortex. And these look like thumb studs. They are thumb studs. However, I've noticed the lock bar is super sensitive. So unless I'm way back on that clip, I cannot even get those thumb studs very well. But what this knife's great at is a middle finger flick. And when I say this knife, I haven't measured it yet. We will in a second. But it's huge. And it's so huge, and to me, so kind of a cool, interesting blade. It had this little thing in the bag. And I didn't know what this little thing was, so I took it out. Then I knew what it was. You guys know what that is? It's a screw. But it's one of those overkill locks, as I call it. So if for some reason a frame lock with a steel lock bar insert is not making you comfortable enough, because this knife, I guess, could be chopped with, even though it's very thin, you've got this little screw in post that ships with it that locks off that frame lock. But this is called the Tuya Vortex. I think this one's right over 200, and I think it's a collaboration. We'll look it up in a second. And I don't know if it's M390 or if it is S90V. They use both. But this is the Vortex. Very interesting specimen, because I'd only seen one of these little screws on my I had a Sandstorm that I gave away a long time ago, a Max Ace, that had one of those kind of lock state, I guess a lock closer offer or whatever. And then I've got a Tucson that has that. What's up, Blind Woo Fury? And Cheeto, is that Cheeto? Oh, Book Dito. I was about to say, is that Cheeto Bandito? No way. Cheeto Book Dito, what is up, brother? Joe Isabella, what is up, my man? Good to see you, Blind Woo. What was I thinking of the Mac or CRK? What else good at that price point? 450 to 500. When you say Mac, are you talking about the McNeese? I've recently, become very infatuated with Chris Reeves knives, but I've not crossed that bridge yet. So I'm not going to talk bad about Chris Reeves because I think they're beautiful and I hope to have one. But for that price range, you can look at Hinderer if that's something you're into. Any Hinderer is going to be between $425, and if you went with a huge X24, I think they're $525. You could look at a Strider. You could look at I think the Mac 2 is hard to beat. I don't have it out tonight, but I have it close by. The action on this little knife, and I noticed, I think, where did I see Stevie last? Was it last night somewhere? Maybe with Donnie? I don't know. Yeah, he was with Donnie because Shane, or Sunday night is where I saw him, and he was talking about wanting to put thick washers on his McNeese Mac 2, the ones that Skiff sells for about $7 if you want to replace a bearing knife with washers because you might work in an environment, or you might be like me and have kind of really started to enjoy a nice washer knife, right? That has a nice roll to it. We've all had Spydercos, but I've got some thick washers for my McNeese. I had them in there for about 2 months. I absolutely love them. They're fantastic. What is up, Mayor Salt? What is up, Kathleen, channel member, all you guys? Good to see all of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If I miss you, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of ranting about some knives in that price point. It was $425 to $550. I think Mac 2 is, for me, for my size, that's what I would go for. And I would, if you're looking for something thin and slicey, I've not tried one yet, but I'm a huge TRM fan, and they just came out with the frame lock, but this is a super thin knife. Some people are looking for more of at that price point, more of a hard use, get it done knife, like either a Strider or Hinderer. Chris Reeves are some of the sliciest, best engineered knives, and we have Chris Reeves to thank for the Chris Reeves integral lock, i.e. the frame lock. So that is Chris's, from what I understand, his one of his contributions to the market. And I've always thought that a frame lock, just because when you hold it, you're furthering engaging that lock. I agree, Paul. I love TRM more than many, but you got to think that I'm not your average probably guy that hard uses EDC knives, right? I like to carry them. I cut a lot of cardboard. I do a lot of it because I've probably got a mental disorder, and I do it therapeutically. Like I'll cut my Amazon boxes down to little strips so I can put my recycling bin out, because we have the big 55-gallon buckets here in Huntsville, and I can put it out every 2 months because I can slice that shit up so little. They're so good. They hold their value very well, I think. And he is a super nice guy. I don't know him personally, but I've had several conversations with him at blade shows before and after I owned his knife. And he's just humble. His wife is, I think her name's Amy. I could be wrong. But really nice people in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or right outside of Tuscaloosa, which is south of me. But that's where the only thing I hold against them, and I don't hold it against them, is they're real close to the University of Alabama, the Roll Tide people. I'm one of those War Eagle people. Even though we didn't make it to the Final Four, we were taken out by Florida. Not that anybody cares. It sucks, but it happens. And they had a great run. The other knife that came in my Tuya package that's also on sale, this one is under $200. This is called the Tuya Wrath V2. And this detent on this knife is absolutely insane. This is the drop point. There's also a Tonto that looks really similar. This gives me, and I was carrying when I unboxed this, I'd been carrying my Chavez Street. This is the larger knife, but the blade is giving me, and the feel is giving me a little bit more of a gentleman's, I would say, Chavez vibe, just because the compound grind, it's DLC coated blade, hollow on the primary, flat on the front where that drop point is. You would sharpen that just regularly. It's got a real nice swedge, which yeah, in the review, I did an unboxing kind of first impressions that comes out tomorrow. You can see that better, but the blade is beautiful. The handle is extremely ergonomic. The clip works very, very well. It's deep carry, even though you have a little of the knife sticking out. You do have a lanyard loop if that's your jam. Carbon fiber, or there are other variations of this knife, several other variations. I like the DLC. I want to say these are $178. We'll look in a second. We'll go to their website, but that's the Wrath V2. And then this is a Dave Warren design. I'd seen this knife before, but I'd never experienced it. It's a Tuya Envy V4. And it is, this one's purple carbon fiber, S90V, kind of a nice sheep's foot blade. Dave designed this, and the ergonomics on this for me, like on the Wrath, the Vortex is a little more harsh, I guess, because it's a bigger knife, but just a great knife. This is just a thumb stud only, where the Wrath is a thumb stud and a front flipper. But the thing I've noticed about this one, I can reverse finger flick it, but I was wondering why I was having such a hard time. I really do with my Chavez too, and it's for the same reason. It's because that stud on the lock side is so much further than on this side, but it's just so I mean, it's satisfying. I'm typically not a thumb stud before reverse flick guy. I reverse flick thumb studs all the time, but I love this knife. It's a good one. It came to me, it'd been used some, so it wasn't as razor sharp as I know I could get it. And I'm not going to sharpen it because it goes back, and whoever buys it as a blim, I think is how Dave sells these when they come back. I don't want to sharpen it. So super nice knife. I am going to strop it before the review. And then the one that excited me the most that I actually didn't only request, I've been begging my contact at Concept. She's wonderful. Concept and their budget brand Tenable have done more in terms of sending stuff for me to check out, probably than anybody. They're very open, regardless of my opinions. And this is by far the finest, most excited I've been about a Concept. And it's a collaboration. I don't know if y'all know said Stevie, and one of his favorite knives, not Donnie's knife yet, being the one I'm talking about, which I'm sure is Stevie's favorite knife. But this is a knife from Edgy Blade Works. What's up, Donzo? And they did a production Tripper, which has got the most wacky Tanto blade. They've got this listed on their website as a Warncliffe. In my description of the unboxing, I did not put Warncliffe. I think the closest thing it is a Tanto. I'd have to get Kyle's insight on that. I've never held an original like Stevie's, a custom, right? But this knife feels so good. It's got amazing lock bar access, and I don't know how they collaborated, if they were doing it, to the exact specs, because like I said, I haven't experienced the first one or the custom, any of the customs. But this one's S35VN, titanium, raw, anodized. I think this is bronze. I think anodized. I think you can get a blue anodized or an all black with the black blade for $177 from Concept. So these are under $200. Edgy Blade Works collaboration. And again, I'm so excited about testing this knife. And when I say test it, carry it, open cat food, cut random shit. I will be able to sharpen this one. But I love it. I know it's not a custom, but I'm not in a position to grab a custom. And, you know, a lot of people, that's a jump. I would say this might give somebody the bug, because it's definitely giving me the bug. It's one of those knives that when I first saw it, it was kind of one of those love it or hate it things, right? It kind of had it's unique. And Stevie picked up, he's got a couple of them, or at least he's got the XL now. And he's basically made me aware of them. They had the best logo in the world. Let's pull up Edgy Blade Works. Give me just 2 seconds, kids. And that's another reason I am, I've got Manganis. If Sharif, anybody chats with him, I'll try to catch him on Maddie's live. But if anybody chats with Sharif, I've got a DM to him trying to find out. I'm trying to hook up a brother who's a knife designer who doesn't want to do OEM drops anymore. He wants to work with, you know, a couple of companies that he collaborates with. He's not looking to get rich off of it. He's just looking to get more designs because he's very prolific out there. So Concept is interested. I talked to them, and I think it's cool that they work with companies like Edgy Blade Works. Granted, it gives them good designs. I'm assuming that Edgy Blade Works gets to look at these prototypes and make sure that's the Concept proto, which is their first production collaboration, right? Mostly what they do. They said Stevie. That's a custom. Check that out. That's the Tipper XXL. So that one's going to be, but I just love the aggressive little puck looking blades. And there's their logo. The rhino humping the other rhino. I love when you see a maker like Blessed Knives or Edgy Blade Works that's doing truly unique designs that you haven't seen really anything that it looks like. When I look at these knives, they don't look like anything to me that I've ever seen before. When I look at Donnie's knives, they don't look like anything I've ever seen before. I've never seen that before. Holy shit. Hold on, guys. I apologize. Then I'll get to the chat. I've been bad. I was trying to think after watching a little bit of Cold to see when he was going to end, and they were like sniping Cutlery Shop. I feel like I should do more entertaining stuff and share stuff with you guys instead of just rambling, talking. But then I get pulled out of I can't find the emoji I want. Sucks. Where's the American flag? I hate Instagram. Let's just do a smiley face or we'll do it that. But that's another reason I love to go to Blade Show. Because a lot of times I'm not going to be able to afford these knives. I have no idea how much this one is. It might be reasonable. But his grinds are so tall, so slicey. Vintage Rag Micarta. I just think that's cool. I did not know a fixie existed. Everybody's doing fixies now. Is that another one of his designs? I didn't know that was an Edgy Blade Works design. I've seen that knife too. Anyway, to me, and that's when I was talking to my buddy who I'm trying to get in touch with somebody at Kaiser just to talk to him. They can talk to him. They'll know him. They'll know his knives. But I think it's nice when you're doing your thing here, right? You're making handmade custom knives. You're supplying the amount of people that you can, which is Donnie will say, you know, it's you got to wait a little while. There's nothing wrong with that. But their production's not scaled up And I personally, a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but I personally, if down the road, Donnie said, this knife I cannot get in people's hands fast enough. I'm still going to do customs. I'm still going to be up in that game, but I'm going to partner with an OEM. And Donnie's going right now, I will never fucking do that. And I get it, Donnie, because we've talked about it, but I can see the method to the madness. What's up, Broke Ass Knives? I can see. What's up, Ed, channel member? I didn't see you guys, buddy. I've been kind of ranting. What's up, Rody? Or not ranting, trying to give you guys content besides just my weird thoughts. So spiral anywhere. But I can respect both a concept or a Kaiser working with the designer. I know they both have mutual gain off of it. And all my buddy's looking to do is not even make a percentage, even though I told him just follow with whatever they offer you. I know that, Donnie. I totally do. But you might come to a place in 3 or 4 years where you're rocking it here and you've got people that are saying, Donnie, I would love for you to make one of your models like Ware Knives. I think of Ware. I could not afford a custom alley. But this is a Ware designed alley. Whoops. I got my finger against it. That he had a production run done. It was not a cheap knife by any means, but it put it within my reach, right? So I can understand, and there's nothing wrong with just doing it here. Plus, the advantage there is it makes your brand more scarce in the market. But I think there's a lot to be said for looking at. I don't think there's anything dirty about exploring both possibilities, because you want as many people and as many different price points to be able to experience your design, I would think. And I'm not talking about yours, Donnie, but a design like I can see the methodology behind it. What brought it into perspective for me was my buddy, who you guys will talk to very soon, and he'll tell you all about it. But he came to me, and he's done OEM drops before where he's worked with companies overseas, and he's had a couple of custom knives made, and then he's tweaked them and worked with an OEM to have them brought to market. And he just is not that interested in that anymore. He'd rather just have knives. I think they're great too, buddy. I think he would just like to work with a company as a collaborator. And he tells me that almost every morning that he wakes up and has a cup of coffee, one of his rituals is he'll sit down, have his coffee before he gets his kids up to take them to school, and he'll sketch out a folder. Absolutely, dude. And Donnie, I don't think it's for everybody to go overseas, right? I think there's a lot to be said for a very boutique brand that is part of its desirability is the fact of the scarcity of the product, right? Because it's being made by one guy, or someday you might have somebody helping you. I don't know, but made by a small group of people where you have communication through the build. It's a totally different product, right? And I think that's how, and I do want to talk to Stevie about it, because I know he's very fond of the guys at Edgy Blade Works. So I'm curious, because it's not, I know it's not that they said we want to release this through concept because we're going to benefit huge from it. I can't imagine it being that. I just don't. I could see if they did it from a standpoint of they said I like this design. It's been well received. We know it's expensive. This is a way to get a version of it in other people's hand. You were saying that, Donnie, and see, I get really confused on the mid-tech would be like you working with a couple of strategic partners to maybe produce certain parts of the knife, and you still keep everything right here, U.S. sourced, U.S. or I need to learn more about that. And my freaking Amazon Knife Nerd book did not come today. It was supposed to. I got this message from Amazon. Hey, Alexa, check my shipment.
One item has been delayed and is now expected to arrive by April 10th.
It's been delayed. Can you hear her treading water? Hey, Alexa, can I get it for free?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
She'll eavesdrop on you. Hey, Alexa, at ease.
I've added eggs to your shopping list. You can find it in your Alexa app.
Hey, Alexa, take out eggs.
I've checked off eggs from your shopping list.
God, I apologize, guys. When you live with a cat, you will talk to your even though you know you're giving your rights up, you'll talk to your AI, your smart homes. I've got Google Home and Alexa. Mid-tech in my opinion. Hypercut. Exactly. I get it, Donnie. That's and I've talked about, in the future, I can see how that makes sense for a lot of small makers. And really, I think and I know there's some makers that aren't like this, but I know a lot of you guys are very forthcoming with helping each other learn, helping each other overcome obstacles, sharing information. And I could see like a little custom knife consortium, U.S. makers that bond together to do stuff like that. There could be some cool stuff because guys, I don't know. I'm not economics sucked for me. I hated it, but I've kept my ear kind of to the ground to hear what the companies, and I shouldn't speak out of turn, but this is just purely YouTube terms of service, John's personal opinion. I think the tariffs are going to be short-lived, in my opinion. I think they're a bargaining chip, but I do think that they are going to raise, from what I heard from in a group, I'll say in a group from a creator that had contact with somebody at Kubi, that they were saying 40 to 50% increase. Which brings me back. I don't know if any of y'all watched Transparent Knives' video. I shared it Friday night, maybe. He did a video where I was talking about it last night. Nobody was interested in on pocket metals, which I understand because that's not really knife related. But he did a video, and I think Brian's videos are so insightful, whether I agree with them or not. He was talking about Chinese versus USA made knives and how USA makers, him included, because he's a USA knife maker, needs to try to compete on things other than price. And that the things that we have clear advantages is somebody at Scotch will tell you it's so much, you have better lines of communication working with a guy in the States than you would trying to work with a guy where you don't have we have a language barrier. Richard, I need to change your name. I had this British guy for a while, but it's got to be a chick's name. It has to be a chick's name. What's up, Kevin Smith and Knives? Channel member, I'm sorry if I'm missing you guys. There's some things I want to share with you real quick before I forget. Let's look at these Tuyas that are, I wanted to look at one of those vortexes. These are all new. I've not checked out any of these. I have looked at a crystallized strength that I got to look at, and the crystallized titanium is very unique. It's not my thing as much. I'm not as much of a bougie guy, but these are very bougie. They're not just anode. There's something to this crystallized. But these are new ones. They're integrals. They're going to be expensive. All-star anodized tie. Here's a hole. What's that mean? Hole pattern. What's the hole pattern mean? With no hole. They got some of these with a finger hole. I don't see any with a hole. Anyway, as I was saying, now this is on sale. This is a Jim Skelton design, flipper only, S90V. Very good ergonomics. It's a large knife. It's 8 inches, 3.5-inch blade, Tanto S90V, $159. If you like the knife, it's a great price. This is the Wrath V2, which I really like. I was trying to see. Here's, I guess, which one's a Tanto? These are two different blade shapes. All right, so the one that's here with me is a Tanto. All right. So there's a drop point that doesn't have that compound grind. Guys, this is a fantastic knife. Do this. Let's look at a drop point, because I think the drop point is not. Oh, I'm sitting here looking at knives. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm not sharing with any of you guys. I'm missing everybody. I apologize, y'all. That was a huge fumble. Huge fumble. What I was showing you, or attempting to show you, some content, some of these Tuyas that are on sale. We'll go back to the first one that I showed when we got to it. These are new. These are these Persian, all-star Persian and ice crystals tie. They're integrals. They're high. I think they're nice. They're just not my jam. I have reviewed this. This is a Jim Skelton design and S90V, titanium and carbon fiber. It was $299. It's down to $159. The ones that are left. The one I was reviewing that I was showing you guys just a second ago is the Tanto version of the Wrath V2. They have drop points. It looks like all they have left are DLC. So they've got a DLC drop point or a DLC Tanto. The Tanto's got the compound grind. And then they've got some Wrath, those are $189, and then they've got some Wrath V1s, which it looks like they're just had different handle materials, right? It looks like they did a first run around because they're still an S90V. It looks like they did a run of these just in all tie, and they're $20 left. So they've got a Singahe pattern, if you want to call it that. What do they got available? Let's see. Oh, they just got frag and satin. So those are available. But see, those are only one blade style. I guess they didn't do a drop point in the Wrath V1. Maybe that's something else they added. Let's do this. Why is it not letting me look at all of them? Oh, there's a drop point. And then the big guy, the one that I will probably have a review out on Wednesday, because it is a wacky knife. Is it not? This is a nice knife. I mean, this is a cutter's knife, in my opinion. It's not a hollow grind. The only ones that are available, they've got some purple carbon fiber, S90V, one that Dave Warren designed. It's a frame lock, backspacer, lanyard hole. Nice clip. There'll be a review coming, but I like the blade shape. This is probably my favorite. But where's that big ass one? But the Vortex, Lefty did a review on it today. I've not watched it because I don't want to get a preconceived idea of what he thought. But he did say on his thumbnail it was a beast, and it is a beast. Is it? Hold on, guys. I saw it on here before they put these knives up. I saw the Vortex. Surely they didn't sell out after Lefty's video. I know there'll be one available. This is a knife that I reviewed that I loved. This knife is elegant. It's either available in this G Carta, which looks like, to me, my Carta. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful material. I reviewed the red one. Let me find it if it's still in stock. Yeah, I reviewed that one. Gorgeous M390 blade. It's got a little bit of a what did you call that? Recurve, Tanto, harpoon. Comes with a weird wallet. I don't really get why, but it does. But it's thick. It's titanium with these are overlays. So it's like if you think of a scale, it's just a titanium frame, like a good size frame and a scale. And I'm not seeing it. These are in stock. This is another skeleton design. If you like street cleavers, this is I want to say S9EV little cleaver. I've got a review on this. I thought it was a very nice knife. It's got a compound grind. You would sharpen it normally, but you do have a thicker stock back here than you do up front. It's just ground a little differently. And then you've got this really nice flick and fuller, or you've got a flipper tab. But hey, I don't see the vortex. So I don't know if Lefty's video, if they're just the sight's down on them, or if Lefty's video drove a lot of people to pick up the ones that were left. But Tuya's been doing some cool stuff. I love the fact, and here's some Caladans. I did a review on this knife. It's a spear point. I actually did that one. Satin blade, done very, very well. Drops like it just drops very, very well. Great detent. That's Tuya. They've got a big sale going on. If y'all are into that stuff, check them out. You can use my link or not use my link. The other one that I didn't show is probably one of my favorites, the Shocker. And this guy's on sale too. This is a collaboration with SB Knives. I learned that from Scotch and Things because Scotch is familiar with their customs. But again, another small custom maker that Tuya partners with to do designs. And this is a cool medium-sized knife. Todd Carr, what is up, brother? Todd was a winner chicken dinner last Friday night of Jason came on. He had technical difficulties and he couldn't physically get on camera, but he gave away one of his trippers, which is a fantastic splinter digger. I mean, that point is so acute. Best Tech OEM'd. You got, get it in my hand so I don't throw it out. You got a flipper tab, got a front flipper, and then you've got this coffin shaped hole, which is kind of one of Jason's things. And I'll tell you, this knife will drop on your finger because there's no safe like place on the blade. This cuts me right here as much as any other knife. I'm holding it horizontally now, so it's not a problem. But if I lift it up like this, be careful. Don't cut yourself, Todd. Roman M, what's up, brother? I know I've missed a bunch of you guys. I apologize. I'll eventually get to everybody. Again, my goal was to show you guys some cool content, break a little news. Here, I'll break a little news for you. Y'all know Jason Grant, Brass Brigades. He's restarting his YouTube channel to do a lot of grinding videos, knife making videos. He does, some freehand grinding, some stuff that's a little different, and he just wants to get out there more. So if y'all are up for it, if you haven't had a chance to, because he's also going to do some knife reviews, some gear reviews. I think he's even going to do some pew-pew stuff because he's a competitive pew-pew guy. But check out Brass Brigade, Jason Grant. Subscribe to his YouTube channel if you don't mind. That would be huge. He would appreciate it. I'm going to pin it. I don't have anything else cool to pin. And I'll tell you, I know all of y'all are subscribed to Donnie. I saw, and I need to check right now and see if my notifications are on because I saw that Donnie was live today, but it was afterwards. Kyle Coonley, what is up, brother? Good to see you. Jeffrey Dawson, what is up? Mark Parks, what is up? Channel member. I know y'all have been in here chatting. I've been trying to jump back and forth to show y'all stuff, and then I wasted a good 20 minutes where I wasn't showing you anything because I was just looking at it. Ouchie EDC, what is going on, buddy? What is going on? What is going on? So that is That's the stuff that's come in for me. And Kyle, I don't know if you saw this, but this came in today. That Concept Edgy Blade Works tipper collaboration. Said Stevie has 2 of the customs, the XL, which I don't know if he was just checking out or if he picked that up too. I have a feeling he picked it up too. But what a beautiful, some people say that's ugly, ugly, ugly. But most Tantos that I've used, and I call this a Tanto because it's got a point down there. And like I said on their website, they called it a Warncliffe, but it's not a compound grind and the whole thing is flat. I mean, you've got, I guess, back here, you've probably got 5/8 of the blades flat, but the tip, the whole thing's flat. It is so thin. I mean, this is definitely not a knife you would pry with. And again, they come in S35, which for me, that's fine steel for what I cut, cat food bags and cardboard, and I can sharpen it. S35 VN, titanium, $177, I think, is what they are on Concept's knife or Concept's site. And I talked to Justin at White Mountain Knives because they've got a Damascus in stock now. And they make a good Concept makes a nice Damascus, but it was also blue anodized handle. And I was reaching out because I was going to get one. And he has more coming in. So I don't know if White Mountain Knives are going to be priced lower than 177. And I'm sure a lot of other people that carry Concept will get it. I think it's going to be a popular knife. I mean, it feels great. It's quickly becoming, and I just got it today, but it hadn't left my pocket. I love it. It's one to definitely check out. Let me, this comes in several different, I don't have them pulled up. Give me a second. We'll look at knives just for a little while. We'll have a little bit of knife time. Just a little knife time. So, and again, I don't know what the future holds for pricing on this stuff. That could be that they eat it. I don't know. So this is the one that's in stock now at White Mountain Knives for $179. It's a Damascus, but it's got that. I'm just not. It wasn't my jam. My favorite. This is also pretty, but it's got the Damascus. That's my favorite. And then they've also got a bronze and satin and a blue and satin. And it talks about Edgy Blade Works, yada, yada, yada. It gives you all the sizes, but they call it a Warncliffe. And maybe I just don't know my blade shapes, but to me, I'd call it a Tanto. There's Edgy. What logo? They don't have their rhinos on there. Very cool knives. Like I say, I think, and I haven't tested it. I don't test knives, but I have cut with it, and I'm going to cut a lot of cardboard with it because to me, it's therapeutically slicey. I think for $177 collaboration, it's a good deal. I have no affiliate link with Concept because I was banned from Carousel. Cheeto Bandito shirt. Where'd you pick that up, Edgy? Awesome, and congratulations. What is up, Edgy? So, got my chickadee out here. One of my chickadees. Oh, Todd, are you getting ads? Who else is getting ads? You weren't. Well, you were banned, but you were resurrected. If you can see that edge shining, that's an edge Kyle put on it about 2.5 years ago. All right, Ryan's getting ads. Hold on. Let's check something. And I guess StreamYard just. Let me go to my YouTube. So allegedly, if you get an ad now, it's because I went back and served you one. So if you get an ad going forward, tell me, because I'm not serving ads, but YouTube changes settings. They're all about the ads. So hopefully it's targeted to you. But yeah, another one, not shilling for a homie, but I do DM Jacob Creates quite a bit because I just like to compliment people, even though I've never tried out one of his Hail Marys. I think it's a cool knife, the bigger version of a knife that he's made in 3 blade shapes, a spear point, a drop point, and we'll have to look at them. I don't know. But the Chickadee, y'all can make fun of me all you want, but I'm the fucking goat, and this is a badass little knife. Guys, it's and what is it called now? It's not it's Metal Mondays is officially dead. It is I saved it last night. Let me go to the new page. And you guys need to sub to this page because what I think is great is you do have very opinionated, passionate people on all sides of the spectrum. And we always say, at least in my lives, I don't feel comfortable talking about certain stuff, politics, stuff like that. You know, I know people do, but it's just divisive. But it's a place for people to hear, for you to be able to sound out and listen to, unless you get banned. But he was only banned for, I thought Edgy, you were banned for a while, but you were only banned for about 10 minutes. Let's see, what is it called? God, I shared it several times. Completely worthless trash. All right. So there's a new channel, there's a new game in town, and it's not knifey, it's lifey. It's going to be life's content. It's going to be art. I think it's going to be some of, I think just it's going to be it's going to be guys getting together that don't agree with each other, but that still talk stuff out, and it could get interesting. Last night was interesting. I learned. I always learn. Who's Kyle talking to? You guys, and he even Edgy, I gave him a lot of love because he was he even at the end he gave you your public props and love, which to me was a PM apology, not apology, but just a hey man, I can disagree with everything that comes out of your blowhole, but I love you. Exactly. And there's I can understand because we never know what people have experienced. And I know it's just it was definitely it was nuts. What's up, Burnt Relic? And I love having not debates, but just, and I don't always play contrarian, but I can always see an opposing side to almost every point's got a counterpoint. Most of them have much more counterpoints. And I just think it's interesting to look at different things because I just don't agree with Scotch, and he knows it, but on his thoughts on YouTubers. Kyle, I think, does agree with Scotch, and that's fine. I mean, it's absolutely a valid way to look at the landscape that's thrown out, in front of content-wise. What's interesting is Pocket Metal grew up in a pretty tough part of Florida, down around Daytona Beach. So I'm sure he's been through, and he was all about the hardcore scene. But I think, everybody gets opinionated. There's nothing at all wrong with that. And I think it's because I'm not a fence sitter. There's certain things that I'm very passionate about, but there are more things that I have to see in person, in real life, to see somebody's rights getting violated or to see somebody getting verbally, whatever it is, before I get really triggered and will step in. Everything on here is the internet. And I know a lot of it, we don't have to say new boot goofing every time somebody is cutting a joke on somebody, but it is hard for, I had a conversation after the live a couple nights ago that people feel like they've gotten somebody that they care about and they rib with upset in the chat, and sometimes it turns into somebody getting upset. But I can tell you that these people, I'm sure they reach out to you too if you've ever had one of those situations. But it's we all come together for the same thing, right? For whatever we like about each other, knives, the comments, but it's hard to read and absorb text messages or chat and know the tone behind it. That's why it's too much to type. But on that cheesy show that I watched, Steel Toe, his chat, there are a bunch of inbreds say new boot goofing at the end of after they rip on one of their buddies so that their buddy doesn't run off crying. Maddie, I thought about you when I saw this knife today. And Maddie, do me a favor. I was saying earlier, I sent Sharif a DM on Instagram, and I know he's like me. I'm never on Instagram. He might have replied to me by now, but I checked it, I think, yesterday. But I've got a question for him for one of our buddies who I'll talk to you offline about it, but he hasn't, I don't think, told anybody, but who wants to talk to or have a contact to possibly have some stuff done. And he's done OEM stuff before. So I think he would be a great partner for somebody who's looking to, collaborate and do some designs with. He's not looking to go back into the OEM world. He's just looking for a company or companies to bring some of his designs to life. He's not looking to do it for, every morning, I was saying earlier, before he takes his kids to school, he has coffee and he sketches out a knife just because it's how he wakes up. He just does it that way. He's very prolific. But tell when you talk to Sharif, just ask him if he would to check his DM, and I'm just looking for kind of a name or him to steer me in the right direction so I can present this fella. Kathleen, what is up? And Kathleen, it always is. And I've tried to pull my for Tuesday nights to pull my advisory lyric or my advisory warning, because I'm trying to keep it more friendly. Oh, Maddie, not immediately at all, dude. It's not a rush at all. It's just again, not at all, no rush, bud. Just next time y'all talk on a live, I'll jump in there if I'm on the chat tomorrow night. He usually joins you on Wednesdays, doesn't he? And I assume Stevie's traveling this week. Thank you, my friend. And Maddie, I'm always around for you. I think you've got my cell if you ever want to ask questions but I think the only thing I do is make very elementary videos that is low tier pretty much and just basic. And then I do 9 shorts, 15 seconds, just unsheathing and sheathing a knife every day. That's all of it. That's all. That's my secret sauce. I did get an app that helps me think of titles that are more likely to be viewed, because I'm terrible at design. Pocket Metal will tell you, you can look at my logo. I can't design anything. I don't have an eye for it. Like color contrast, things that make people want to watch this video about the Tripper versus this video about the Tripper or whatever it is. Yeah, I'll send you, I can send you an ad. It's on YouTube. YouTube talks about, the buying views. Yeah, I can forward you some stuff on that. What is up, said Stevie? Said Stevie, did you see what I was showing off earlier? That came to me to check out today? The Concept Tripper. The Blessed Knives collab. And dude, I can only imagine how awesome the custom is, because this thing is sweet. It is a slicer's dream. And Maddie, I'm surprised you don't get emails, but there are all kinds of different shady companies. And you just got to be very, very careful. Now, there are also things through YouTube, AdSense that you can do. And I guess it's legit. I wouldn't call it. My only argument with his perception was organic growth, the way it's thought of, is growing organically without boosting your post, without getting your video in front of more people to have more chances to see it. You know, you can pay like $5. I don't know if it's 1,000 impressions, but you can. That's legit. That's what you would call white hat. You know, it's SEO. It's legit. I don't do it. I don't think it's. I think that's when you say I'm growing both through ad campaigns and through organic growth. But there are also people that they're click farms, they're view farms, not just on YouTube, but it's a big problem in the ad industry. Ad fraud is a huge problem because the advertiser is not getting the eyeballs that they paid for. B, the ad server, the tech, the person who sold the ads to the advertiser, those are all sold on an open market exchange. So it's just hard. It's hard to track. Said Stevie's group helloing. It is tough. And man, if you're not on a computer, it's really tough. I used to wonder how like Zach or Big Red could jump in and say hey to like 10 people. And I learned if I'm ever sitting at my computer, which I'm not unless I'm streaming, that you can hit the @ sign and then type and it auto populates. Man, there's no wrong answer. I would tell anybody for your own channels, or whether it's a website, and Google BMW 1991. BMW got blacklisted from Google search for doing shady shit. BMW, the corporation, and you could not find on Google. This was back in early when Google was new, but it hurt BMW sales horribly. And now what we used to tell people, and it was pretty much true, where do you hide a dead body? On the second page of Google, because nobody goes there. People are so short attention span. And the good thing is that's why YouTube videos always show up no matter what you search. Washing machine, motor replacement. You Google that, it'll pull up a couple of articles and it'll show you your videos because YouTube is Google. The second biggest search engine out there. So it's just, I just do numbers. I just throw a lot of shit out there, 15-second stuff. Because I have my biggest regret, what I wish I did different, and what I might eventually do. I just don't know how to do it. Well, the easiest way to do it is to just do it. But I wish I did not set a precedent for posting every day. I really, really, really wish that I think if you post less and if you go live less, I think you're more likely to get more better content, more thoughtful content, and people don't get bored of seeing your stuff because what is it? The law of diminishing returns. What's up, Don? Don and Chris? The funk? What is up? The fuck? And we were just chilling. We were talking knives. We were talking lives. You were welcome. You were welcome to hang. Hey, wherever it works. Wherever it works. But no, there are a lot of times that if YouTube is very, I don't know if they pull channels, but I know it's super serious if they catch you because that's basically gaming their ad system too, right? Because they're real people that are viewing them, but they're just companies that offsource to countries like Indonesia and other places that are less, that have less wages, and they're big. They call them click farms or view farms, where people get a list of clients that have paid for. And the trick is whether you boost your post. From what I've read about organic growth or any growth, when your video goes live, anybody's video, the first thing YouTube does is pushes it to a percentage of your subscribers. If they choose to watch it, certain percentages, it pushes it to more people. If they don't, sometimes it just won't get that push out. So when people say, you know, set your notifications to turn on, that's them asking or me asking, turn on your notifications. And when I release a video, please watch a little of it. It would help. But I don't say that because it's really not part of it. But when you go to upload videos, it tells you, you can get data that tells you when most of the people that watch your videos, when they're online. So you try to schedule it around that. But it's just, and so if you were going to boost your video, so if you were going to put, say you wanted to put $5 behind each one of your videos, and you found out when your subscribers were online, and you would assume that others were online, you can boost it out past that initial when your video goes live. Because allegedly in the first 45 minutes is what determines in those increments how many more new people are exposed to have the chance to either click on your video or not. They call them impressions, how many times your video is shown in somebody's feed for them to have a chance to click on it. There was a knife stabbed in a table, and he was I wouldn't even call it a threat. I think Shane will say otherwise, but I think Shane was terrified. It is now, like I said, did I pin it? No, I think I pinned something else. But now it is completely worthless trash. It is Pocket Metal's new channel. It is going to be not really knifey, but it is going to be provocative maybe, or it's just a place for ideas to be swapped around. I know you weren't terrified, dude. I'm kidding. Here, Shane, I got let me give you a close up of something. But it was interesting. And see what a lot of people don't realize, and you can joke about my level of California sobriety, but I'm not drinking gobs of whiskey or scotch. And I remember what it was like because I was there. I used to be that guy. You can't see. Let me see if I can get it where you can see those ridges. These are some scales Shane sent me that I'm going to put on his, or he ordered. I'm going to put on his shaman for him and film it. But they've got they're AWTs. They're made so well. And this is a clip side line or delete. So they're really sweet. And I ordered, what sucks for me is I ordered another set, a set that were blue paramilitary 2. And Shane ordered these after I ordered mine, and his shipped. I guess they had them in stock, and I guess mine are being made. But that sucks. And I've got a clip from MX Gear. I'm not gonna I'll whine to y'all, but I'm not gonna burn them yet. But it's been sitting, and maybe they just do this. Maybe when an order comes in, they print a shipping label and then they make the clip. I don't know. I ordered a Strider clip for my Protec for this knife right here. My buddy A to Z bought one of these on the secondary on Blade Binge. And this Strider clip, I don't mind it, but it sometimes catches on stuff and it's not very deep. But what's it called? MX Gear offers a Strider replacement clip that's deep carry. And I checked out A to Z's and I really liked it. So I ordered one. The only unfortunate thing is they don't have a color that really matches my Strider. I mean, they've got like a blue. They don't have anything that's. So who knows? Yeah, Lynch is much better than Max Gear, but and I have 90% max gear, but you can't get everything. They don't offer, and it's understandable. I mean, I talked to Casey. I talked to Casey because I was begging him to do a replacement for this clip. And it's also the same clip that's on the Infraction and on the MIDI Marauder. It's a Medford clip. And this is a long clip. It's thin, goes in and out of pocket really easily. But I feel like if I was doing ninja cartwheels, as I sometimes do, when I'm either attacking or fleeing, it might come out of my pocket because it's so heavy. I'd like it to have a little bit more retention because you never know when you're going to have to go cartwheeling down the sidewalk. Yeah, they've got their boneyard. Here, let's go look at AWT. And I don't have a code with them. I think I have a code, a savings code with Rock Scale. I'm not sure. Let's see. AWT, applied weapons. Whoops. Now, what I'll say about Applied Weapons Tech, as I will about MX Gear, is they have a lot of knives that you can modify. And I first learned about these guys with my Adamas. So if you've got a Benchmade Adamas and you are not and they've also got some cool freak scales, but you're not a fan of the speed holes or a mini Adamas, I've got some of these Sniper Gray on my mini Adamas, and I got the early generation when they were smooth. I'll show it to you in a second. But they make scales for just about everything, for Tagged Owls, for the Freak. But they make scales for, let's go to some other makers. Spyderco, Hogue. I've thought about these too for my Ritter Hogue. I've got two. I've got one that I got from the first Knives Live that's engraved. But I like my G10 scales on my Hogue Deca. They've always been really grippy. But they offer Boneyard. These are the stuff that's on sale. Look at that. Adamas scales for $47. Bodacious for $47. And that's a complete knife there, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. I don't know what it is. It's taking forever. Blade, finish, hardware. This is where they allow you to build it. I think that's a complete knife. Spyderco knife builder, hardware, scales, and pocket clip. Wait a minute. That'd be like 80, 40. Yeah, there's something was weird there. But they've got, jumbos, Manix 2s, Presidios, which I don't own a Presidio. They've got mini Griptilians, which were kind of interesting. Mini Freaks, you name it. I mean, they've got a lot of cool scales. And then while we're looking at scales, I want to show you all a couple others. I've got a set of these. I don't know what knife. I gave them a couple of choices. But I've never, when they sent me, and I've still got it somewhere. I've tried to give it away. Nobody wanted it. It's when they sent me a driver to try a year or so ago, it came with a scale, and I didn't know what it was, but it was a Chris Reeves show-side scale. And they were getting ready to start doing scales. So they have now. And they do it kind of differently. Hold on a sec. It's different than anything I've really seen. So let's browse their scales. The card night. Look at that. There's some Hinderer scales. Spyderco stuff. That's a backspacer, a weird pear slide. I don't know what that's for, but it's unique. There's Spyderco scales. And they all look different. You know, to me, these don't look like other people's scales, really. That's a bug out here. They look original. They look like they're kind of original. I mean, everybody's done frag before, but they don't look like a replication of someone else's scales. And they're doing more. I think they've got some Demkos too that had made it to the site, but these Hinderers, I keep my Hinderers pure, but those are pretty sick, guys. Those dragons. And again, a Hinderer is just a show side. Sterling silver is $345. Brass is $145. So that'll be heavy as all get out. But yeah, so hopefully I haven't done it in a long time. Paul, I'll be honest with you. I've got aluminum scales on a couple of Demkos, and I've also got titanium, and I can barely tell the difference. And aluminum, like these now have a little milling in them, but I think they feel better. I think they're lighter, and they're still every bit as solid. So to me, they get... Oh, Kyle, your Hinderer is the coolest that I've seen. Well, it's not the coolest I've seen, but it's the coolest I've seen from anybody I know. But aluminum, I have no hesitation to go with aluminum. I'm kind of over carbon fiber. So if I don't get Shane Shaman soon, I might put these purple carbon fiber slick ones that'll go flying out of his hand on his, and that would probably bum him out. But I'm kind of over the micarta. That's why I ordered those blue ones for one of my PM2s. It still has, it's got nice micarta scales, hardware. It's just, I'm kind of over it. Rock scale are probably my favorites. They made more of a difference on my Manix 2 than anything because, as you guys know, the Manix 2, by design, has those liners that are jimpy so that it'll be a very easy knife to grip, you know, and crazy. Do share. But the Manix 2 rock scale designs, I ordered these a couple of years ago, but they're linerless. So I was able to get rid of the liners. And they made it one of my favorite EDC knives. Uh-oh, I tried to click on Stevie and I almost inadvertently put him into, oh, is that a boat right? Hold on a second. Let me show you what Stevie's getting. That is a sexy little beast. Oh, is that Lynch? $7.5. A little on the large side for me, but right about there. 3.3, 154. I love it. Magna cut with 154, which I'll have. That's a good looking knife, Stevie. Yeah, I'd be stoked about that. And it comes with a pocket dropper, or are you having a sheath made for it? It looks like Lynch is making that guy. That looks like a collaboration between Lynch and, hold on. Go back and find it. Did that take y'all with me? Yeah, it did. That is their new design, the Sparrow 7 fixed blade. I guess, when is Oregon's collector show, Stevie? Is that what's going this weekend? Is that where you're grabbing it? What's up, Ouchie? But I'm seeing, I mean, everybody, it seems like, I don't know if I just am noticing them more now, but it seems like the EDC fixed blade. And I'm going to do some more content just on the advantages of a fixed blade versus the advantage of a folder. I carry both every day, but I've got all mine set up to carry in my back pocket. That's how I kind of carry my EDC fixies because they're smaller. I'd say 6 to 7 inches on the large size. Some of them even a little smaller. But I'll show y'all a good one. Oh, sweet. Dude, I love that. I love it. I love it when they find their way to friends. So this guy right here is the new little Kaiser drop bear fixie, which I was surprised, but it's about a 1/2 inch smaller than the folding drop bear. This one happens to be a clip point in ABEL, but they also make it in sheep's foot and in the regular drop point. I figured you would be. But you carry them on a knife like that, Stevie. Do you pocket drop it or do you put it on your belt? I think you carry them in your pocket because that's where you. But for an inexpensive knife, the only thing I'm not crazy about, and I just ignore it, it's kind of gimmicky, but I guess it's not if you're into it. But it has tweezers and a toothpick stuck in the ass of it like a Swiss Army knife. But these little guys are less than $70. They're super thin. And if you've never thought about carrying an EDC knife, they don't come with a ulti clip. I put that on it. Yeah, they look USA made, Cheeto. Here, I'll pull it back up and show it to you guys again. Let me share it. Yeah, it looked. The only thing I think that made me think Boatwright blades is I heard you talking about them, I think, or somebody talking about them the other night. And you know me, I'll get stuff stuck in my head. But I love it. The handle looks kind of like it's narrow, which I like on a fixed blade. Although I like a robust handle too, but not for as much carrying. I want a little thinner because I'm usually sitting on it. But that's a cool looking knife. And like I say, I'm seeing a lot of companies get into fixed blades. Was it McNeese that I saw that had one? A lot of these guys are doing one. And one of my favorite, one of Donnie's knives, he did the sexiest little fixed blade. I've seen it. I thought, yeah, I've seen you show it. That's where, and those are great. That one's about 7 inches too, right, Stevie? Or is it a little smaller? Boatwright, I talked to them at Blade Show 2 years ago. And they've always been on my radar. I've always wanted to get one of their knives. Let's look at them for a second. They make some sexy little knives. Yeah, I'm a big fan. A big fan. Support your small makers. 7 inches overall. That's my perfect. Between 6 and 7 is my perfect carry. I think the one that size wise suits me is my Boker AK1, that daily carry collaboration. Cheeto. Bless. I think that's a challenge. A lot of guys have. A lot of you guys, and I think you're probably more dialed in, but there's, and I think y'all are going to see over the next 3 or 4 months a huge change in what's coming over here, right? what it's costing. Because again, it's hearsay, but I heard say that that Concept muttered 40%. Which what's that? If you've got, I don't do math. So me too, Kathleen. So if we've got $200 and we add 40% to that, we added 50, it would be $300, right? So it'd be like 280. I've never, Paul, tried one of his, but my buddy A to Z, who you know, has 3 of his kitchen knives and swears by them. I agree. And Donnie, if you guys are friends with each other, if y'all talk, I think a lot of it, talking to people I know, it's confidence, you know, and a lot of times nudging by their peers will maybe help them make those jumps. Because I agree. I think there's several makers out there that aren't getting enough, and there's several makers that are getting, I think, what the market, the top of the market, and I've supported both. We love Kathleen. Kathleen was kind enough to share with me where she was made uncomfortable during one of my lives from us being over the top, and it meant a lot to me that she would share that with me, and it made me hopefully less abusive. Every now and then I'll get on a ramble and I'll say bad words, and it's because my mental capacity is diminished. So when I can't think of something intelligent to say, I will usually substitute an F-bomb because it just seems to work. And to me, that word can be applied so many places in a sentence or in a conversation. Paul, I got this chain because I want to put my opinion on it. Your sweet chain inspired me, and I felt like I had to one up you. I just got to find a way to get it on there. I'd like to try one too. I've handled them. Now, when I was at his booth, I think it was 2022, because we all had dinner. No, it was 2023 when I was at his booth. 2022, he wasn't making knives yet. But he only had kitchen knives there, but he had one of them that was I don't know what you call it. It was bigger than a paring knife, but it would have made a great EDC knife. It didn't have a sheath or anything. But his knives looked really good. I know he's very controversial. I know he's had some recent issues. Yeah. You know, Edgy A to Z, who you know is a stickler for shit. He's a pain in the ass. He loves them. Let's look. I don't know. I'm sure he does. I think he does about every type of knife, and I know he does a lot of customs too. Let me go to his page. And then I'm going to share. We won't watch it together. I think that would be good to react to, like, to Brian's observations that I thought were just brilliant when he was talking about Chinese and USA made knives. See, to me, that's a good looking little knife. It looks very thinly ground, but where? Yeah, they've been going back and forth. Let's get back to the knives. Let's get that. These are the ones that dropped at Blade Binge. And to be honest, this one's not really my jam. You would think it would be, but this one looks thicker. I've seen some of his knives that I like better. But they're allegedly heat treated very, very well. They're allegedly ground very, very well. Again, I've never experienced them, but my buddy, what are these? 3-inch blades. See, I think those are sexy. S60V, I'm not familiar with that steel. 65 to 66, so I don't know what it's supposed to be. But they look like nice knives to me. But let's do this while we're over here. I want to share a link. And if y'all haven't seen this, we won't watch it now. We won't watch all of it. We might watch a little of it. Go transparent. I mistyped. I really enjoy Brian's videos. I think he's a very smart young man. But let's see if this is it. Basically, what he's doing is he takes about 30, 40 minutes and he's talking about Chinese versus American made knives without any political biases, right? He's just talking about when SPK is. Are you talking about the Jacob dude who's been going off on Steve? Terry, I saw a video from him the other day, and if you're talking about where the glue came out, nothing that I saw looked anything but clean, but I haven't held one. I need to check out because my buddy bought his first one, like when one of the first ones Steve made. So I'll check him out and I can tell, but he did a video showing, and again, he could have just been showing cleaner knives because I know that there is some. Let's see. It was one of these videos after all that shit went down where he that's not it. Where he actually talks about it. Down here. Yeah, he got, they look nice to me, but I haven't seen them close enough to really know. I mean, I've always thought they looked nice. I was surprised when Jacob showed that one off, and Steve claims that that was not the way it was sent out and he also had some receipts where the guy that bought the knife from him had sent him some pictures and talked about it, and those weren't there. Now they could have seeped out. I don't know how that works, but there's a video on here where he is kind of I don't know how to fast forward these damn videos, and I don't have the patience to sit through one. But he talks about it on there. And I would think that his fit and finish has gotten better. Stevie, y'all tolerate each other. And you shut him down. You I forget what live stream, but you actually called him out. I think it kind of shocked him too. That was hilarious. But you called him Scuba Steve the whole time we were there. That was hilarious too. I haven't either, Terry, but like you said, I'd like to try one. And again, I'm the guy that doesn't benefit from the super steels or the the greatest blade geometry, but I appreciate it. And Amazon's in the process of screwing me. They slowed me down. I was supposed to have my I'll show you what I ordered. So I'm trying to make myself at least somewhat wiser. So I have got, where are my orders? I've got the Knife Engineering Steel and Heat Treat book inbound. Oh, inbound and slowed down. It's supposed to be here today. If it doesn't come by the 10th, I'm going to get it for free. But I'm going to read this. It's 450 pages. I was an English major in college, so I can read a lot of shit. But it was on sale for $30. And I'm going to try to absorb this. And I was looking at some of the other books. They've got, I'd like to know more about it. I don't think it'll make me more of a steel snob because, again, I cut cat food boxes and a lot of cardboard. But I think it's fascinating to learn about it. Ed, off the rails, dude. I'm telling you, Shane is a master troll. He's that one that's under the bridge, but you don't even know he's there. And he just pops out and throws some all caps at you. And he does it just for fun. But there was all kinds of craziness. I don't remember. I think I'm since I'm mainly sober that I kind of get traumatized about halfway through it and block out a lot of that stuff. And I never, ever go back and watch lives that I've been part of ever. Because again, I'm blessed with, I think, early dementia. So that shit kind of is like shaking an etch a sketch when I turn this off. Until I get DMs from people that are offended and I have to go back and watch and learn from my mistakes. And Steve, we've always said that he, I think, has and always has had good information and good intentions in trying to push before the making, trying to push the knife manufacturing industry forward or educate people. But his delivery was just, you can have a great message and not communicate. We're only communicating to a few of the people because you're shouting over them. I think he could have just gotten a lot of that information out by just being really confident and just calling people out in a normal tone and just getting it done. But that's his, I only spent a couple of hours with him at dinner one night and I didn't see that side of him, and him and Justin were ribbing each other back and forth. But I got the opinion that was kind of his persona, his Instagram persona, which some people have, I try to be me, but some people, you never know. You want to do a little something different, you do something different. That doesn't necessarily mean it's the way he is, but I think his delivery is lacking in effectiveness. Oh, he put me backstage for the adrenochrome. I was making a funny on it. But again, I get it. Everybody's got their opinions on stuff. I forget what I'll say stupid shit, but it's not ever really drowned in politics. But a lot of times it comes out, and I've been doing lives with Pocket Metal for years, and we've had knockdown dragouts. We've talked on the phone a couple days later, a day later. It's a great forum for just having open discussion and ideally talk about movies, talk about stuff. But when something comes up, that's what I think lives are good for addressing things that are on people's minds now. I always think there are better ways to discuss them. Oh, I love Shane. And I think trolling, I think Kyle Coonley's a master troll. I think being able to drop short, concise sentences, whether they're perceived true, actually true, not everybody's going to see them the same way, but to be able to deliver a point and throw it out there and to get somebody to bite on it is an art. We call it spurging out, crashing out. You see a lot of it. I want to see if he ever gets those printed. I know he's been waiting for some stuff to filter out the air, but I think those little figurines, or I don't want to call them the wrong thing. I think those are cool. I think those would be very cool. Now he'll get a voodoo doll for Shane. But no, it was all, they agreed to disagree and went on in the spirit of love, which is what it's all about. He does try. I mean, you got to give him an A for effort. And sometimes that's it. You just gotta decide how you wanna ride. I rarely get triggered. I've dropped a few. I don't even try to get sarcastic in the comments because I figured there's no need to fight with people in comment section because you're not going to achieve anything. I learned that when Metal Complex had about 85 exchanges in Shane's post about a situation that happened in another fucking platform, which made him, in my opinion, look like Shane was making him feel. Shane was in his head, bypassed kissing the ring, and was just peeing in the corner of his rent-free apartment in Metal Complex's head because Metal Complex kept coming back, debating where I would have just shut it down. It's all love because what's so funny is Scotch and I will fight about shit. Donnie, will go off big time, and to me, it's just funny. I think it's just funny. That's one that I don't watch much. I see that he's live quite a bit, but I always see it after the fact. Well, I don't know if I'm even subscribed to Gerbs. Let me pull up Gerbs. I remember he used to come around Maddie's lives, I think. I think he's a cool guy. Gerbs. And I think he makes stuff too. I don't know what he makes. Where's Gerbs? There's something from 2 years ago where Gerbs showed up. He's tagged. Here he is. BC Gerbs. Hey, he's only got 782 subscribers. Let's help him out. I'm going to look at his stuff, but I'm subscribed. Uh-oh. Wrong button. Damn it. Bear with me. So, I've not watched Gerb's content in a while. I think he's in the Pacific Northwest. I will pull up his page and we'll see what he's about. I think mostly he does live streams. He's live now. Let's watch Gerbs. See what he's about. Let's see what he's doing. I can't hear anything. What's up, buddy?
Stay down. Hi, boys.
Check it out, Gerbs. Gerbs doesn't seem to be doing much, guys. I don't think I'm going to stick with Gerbs. Is he been live? Oh, he's been live for like 3 minutes. So he's waiting for people to get in here, I guess. All right. Bye, Gerbs. What are you doing, Kyle?
Nothing. I'm just doing some editing, some photo editing, and then I shipped some knives out tonight. So I'm just getting some more ready to go out tomorrow for the first half of the collab that I was doing with Brian.
Oh, nice.
So,
have you talked about that? Do we know about that, or have I just missed it?
That's been announced. So he did a drop of 20 where he's doing a Zerblast finish and tumble on the blades, and then I'm doing the sharpening for people. So
Very nice. Very, very nice.
have a good one, Donnie.
Donnie, he ain't going anywhere. He's just fucking with you, I think.
No, I know. I was being sarcastic back. So here's the that Zerwash finish
How do you do that?
that Brian's doing.
What when you say Zer, what is that you're washing it with? What is
It's the form of media that he's using.
and he's tumbling it?
He tumbles it afterwards, but it comes out really, it's almost like glass. It's gorgeous.
Well, your edge just really pops that secondary bevel. Brian's got the touch. Did you watch his video that I was sharing the other night?
I watched some of it.
I think I think he thinks stuff out. I think he's just well spoken.
Yoko, I think Brian was charging $70 shipped for that, which is cheap.
A steel.
Yeah.
Zermanium is
No.
what.
It's ZIR as in zirconium.
Oh,
So the other one I wanted to show is a knife that is new for me that I've not seen in person, but is an absolute banger. I love this knife.
Kathleen, I agree, and it does cross barriers. Was that the artisan cutlery, or no? That's a Vero.
Nope. This
What
is
is
the Prince Customs Protein.
Oh, so it's a custom. Flick it over. Is that like a 3 1/4 inch blade, roughly, or 3? You don't have to measure it.
Well, here, I can give me something to compare it to a PM2.
I would think it's smaller, but I could be wrong. It looks awesome.
Here's a PM2 in comparison.
Did you see when Scotch got on to the Knight's Edge about his size comparisons last night? Yep, it's about bug out size.
It's probably a little bit bigger than a bug out, but not by much. It's like a 3 1/4.
That blade geometry looks really good, though. I love the
It is
grind
good.
on it. So, what'd you say? Who is that made by?
Prince Customs.
I'm going to Instagram and seeing if I can find it. Prince Customs. Are you sharpening it, or did you hook it up?
Do you hear that ting? I don't know if you can pick that up or
Oh, I
not.
can hear that.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that Brian did as well too. I just sharpened this one as well.
I've never even heard of them. Prince Custom. They're not on Instagram, or I'm not finding them. Have you found them on Instagram?
I've not looked for them on Instagram, but I know they've been around for a little bit.
That is right, Shane. If he couldn't get to you, he did suggest you just self-delete it.
There you go. Prince Customs Protein.
So is that a USA, I'm sure, knife?
I believe so.
Prince, I'm just Googling it. Custom. Protein.
And then there was one, which a knife that we all know that had some work done on it, but this one turned out the finish on it. I really like the way it looked. Let me grab. This is a Kaimano that has been snipped. No flipper tab.
Ooh, what kind of finish does he call that?
This is the
used to
same
be
finish.
satin.
This is a Zerblast. This is that same finish that he did on that first knife. The second knife wasn't the same.
And he did the flipper delete too?
No, the flipper delete was already done, I do believe, before he got it. He might have. I don't know. I just know this is the way it came to me.
Oh. Jeffrey, are you talking about the custom, or are you talking about the? I think that's true. I think it's just everybody's got very strong opinions, and what's hard about chat is, for certain people, is understanding if it's in sarcasm, if it even means what you think it means. A lot of times what we are thinking or living is how we interpret chats.
Well, here is one that I can show you.
This is Stevie.
The finish compared to stock. So
Mark found it.
this is a stock satin from MBK. That's the saber tooth.
That's a pretty knife.
Here is the one with Brian's finish on it.
How well do you think that knife's made? I mean, I know it's pretty simple. What do you think of that knife objectively?
Well, this one's mine, so I like it.
Okay. I mean, I've always been a fan. I traded my only, well, I've still got the turbo, but I traded my Warncliffe to pocket metal for a TRM Atlas.
No, I like it. I know some people don't, but I really like it, and it. I'm a Laconico fan. This is a one of his designs that I've been
And
eyeing for a while.
it's a sexy one of his designs. It's, you can see
Right.
his design language in it, but it deviates, right?
Well, he's done some kind of aggressive designs before, but just not with MBK.
Agree with that, Maddie. I'm there to keep the peace, but I don't do a good job because I cower in the corner and get put behind the curtain when I talk about adrenochrome or things like that. I'm going to share this Prince Customs because we found the Instagram. We're going to take a look at their knives because I'm not even familiar with them, so I'm going to follow them.
There's a little F5.5 that was worked on that he had done as well too.
Let me stop sharing. So did he come up with that finish? Is that something he just kind of revolutionized, or have other people done it?
I think he's got it done the way he likes it done. I think that's been around for a while. So that idea of finishing.
Do you have any forecast on when you think, if you were gambling, when he'll have his first folder out?
I have no clue. I mean,
I think that's his goal. I
think long term that's a goal, but I know he was still waiting to get a CNC. But trying to think what other ones. I have not touched this one yet as far as sharpening it, but here is a Sabenza that was done in that finish.
Man, that looks good. Do you think that'll make the scratches show up less?
Yeah,
It's like that.
I mean,
I don't know.
to a
Or make-
point, but not as much as like a regular stonewash. I mean, it's not going to cover up any deep scratches, and you're still probably going to get some, but it's more protective than a satin would be.
So when you're talking about rust, how's it grade out? Like you're most susceptible to satin, or is it
No,
more
bead
susceptible
blast.
when it gets blasted
Bead blast is your most susceptible.
because you've got the pits in there?
Yeah, this one is a real fine media. That's why it leaves kind of like that, almost like glass blast look to it. It's just gorgeous, though.
That is gorgeous.
I didn't mean to hijack. I just had a
No,
couple
no,
things.
that's the kind of stuff I want to see. I mean, it's a knife. You know, it's Insomniacs Live. If somebody wants to talk about something else, we can. But I think it's a knife focused, and that's cool shit to look at. Who won the clips again? I forgot.
Do what?
You that tripper should be coming to you. Jason said he's going to try to get it out tomorrow. I talked to him tonight. Ooh, dude, is that a? Do they just make dagger grinds?
Yeah.
How different does that feel to you? I mean, can you just tell night and day from other out the fronts?
Yeah, I mean, this is super, super well made.
Oh yeah, I've heard that they have no movement basically, and
Yeah, I mean, it's like the name says, it's a deadlock, and there's nothing to it, and it feels phenomenal in the hand. The only thing I just don't see value in it, because of the price point. But
it's over 1,000, right?
it's over 2.
Oh wow.
So it's absolutely phenomenal though.
And how many do they make? Do they make like 100 a year? Do they make 1,000 a year?
I don't know that answer, to be honest.
I just wonder if it's like one guy or three guys or.
I don't know.
They did a folding utility knife, if I'm not mistaken, that I saw on Metal Complex's page.
That's a cool one too.
What's that?
Jesse Droz.
I'm not familiar, but I love that titanium covered. What is that, micarta or rich light?
Micarta.
I love that kind of build where you've got the micarta on the solid titanium frame.
That one. What else came in recently?
Oh, it is. And, you know, I don't know if y'all were there the night before or the Monday before.
Full size.
There were all kinds of YouTube terms of service during that one too. That's what angle do you sharpen that at? You know, I told you that A to Z reached out to him and showed me. He told me he set those at 27 degrees.
Yeah, that's not right.
I know, and that came from Chris. So I can't imagine how that could be right. What would you think that is looking at it?
Factory, it's probably, I gotta have to go back and look at my notes. I think they're in the 20, 22, 21 range from factory.
So the thinner your stock, you're going to probably go with a thicker bevel, right?
Yeah, you don't want to go too low on a thin stock because you're just going to make it even more fragile.
Right. Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, I like my OTFs, the ones that I was late to the OTF game, and the only reason I've got the ones I've gotten is because I'm an EMP EDC fanboy, and I like that Warncliffe. And then I picked up a Axial that they sent me. It's one-sided. I don't have any dagger grinds because I don't have a use for a dagger really. But I like the convenience and I like the way they carry.
Kathleen, that varies a lot depending upon the week and if I got any projects or collabs going on. So that's hard to say because I'd also have things like right now are swamped, but then I've got, because I just did over the weekend, I did 7. I've got 7 more to do, and then I've got more in the way. So it all depends upon the time frame. Some weeks I won't do very many. And some weeks I'll be just completely slammed. You get peaks and valleys as far as how busy you are. It'd be nice if I could stay just an even keel, but that's hard to do in this type of business.
It's like storm or trickle.
Yeah.
Feast or famine. Luke,
Yeah, so,
I do believe in the power grinder or a dagger for that. And I've got some spear points, but I've also got some pretty stabby tontos and stuff like that that'll leave them thinking and leaking if they come after my Slurpee. And this knife, this guy doesn't make them anymore, but this is a Servant Knives Mech Fighter in 3V. And this thing fits my hand like a glove. And that little pinky ring doesn't have a lot of space on it, so it's tight. And it's got this little attitude adjuster. But that's my zombie apocalypse knife.
We were talking about it earlier.
Good evening, Stephen.
Mentioned it in chat. I was carrying my Hinder today.
Dude, show that Hinder. I don't know if I'm going to make you big for a second. I think that's so clever. Dude, that's sexy. That's a harpoon blade, right?
Yeah, so this was the harpoon Tanto that was reground by Satu, and then copper show side, all of the hardware Cerakoted on the side black, backside is black Cerakote, copper hardware and copper filler tab.
That looks so good, dude.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
That looks so good. And those knives, I think those are fantastic knives. I've got a flipperless Eclipse. I think I prefer I prefer the flipperless, but I'm a big XM18 blade style and Jurassic. I think the Jurassic's probably my favorite size. I just got an older one that's got a real, what do you call it when the detent, when you get it to like there, it wants to kick back up?
Late detent.
Late detent. On my Jurassic. But I've got smaller hands. So that kind of bridges the gap between my 3/0s. But like right there, that's where it sticks.
Yeah. Merceau, this is aged a little bit. It's not completely shiny. It's just that my lighting in here is bright.
Is it copper or is it anode?
No, that's copper. It's a copper
Oh,
scale.
I got you. I didn't know if that was one of the Medford, like this one. That's my Eclipse, which is not as fancy as yours.
I like the Eclipse better, personally, than the XM18.
I think the only reason I don't is the height of the blade. And it's not that I dislike this knife. This knife, the action's better. It doesn't have, it's a factory flipper delete. And I put the blue hardware on it, and I could only get that smooth show side scale. But that's again when I finally get my brain where I can put my thoughts together, talk about my knife journey. Hinders were knives that I never saw beauty in, never had any desire for. Dark Gravity got me to play with one of his little 3 inches that I ended up buying from at a blade show in Nashville. And I was like, yeah, it didn't do much for me. About 2 months later, we were up having lunch, and he said, why don't you just carry it? Because he was going to get rid of it, and he was getting rid of it for a really good price. And he said, just carry it to blade shows before my first blade show. And I did. And something clicked, and I just appreciated its form. And then the rest is history. I bought, I think, 4 more. And there's still several. If I was working and having the money coming in, I would have liked to have gotten all those slicer grinds that came in recently, the Jurassics and the XM18s. I think those slicer grinds look pretty sick.
I think the Spanto is the worst design he's done.
It is.
It's not prominent enough of either one to make it worthwhile. I like the Harpoon's Tanto. I like the Recurve. I like the Warning. I like the Bowie.
Yeah, the Bowie's sexy. My buddy has an XM24 Bowie. It's quite a knife. That's a lot of knife.
I typically don't like small knives. But this kind of goes against like what I've been collecting recently, but this is a little small Chinese knife that for some reason, it just works well. It's a fantastic knife. Is the Bridgeport 395.
Oh, yeah. The 229, is that what that was called?
395.
395.
Yeah, this is a great little knife.
Who makes that bad boy? Is that do you know? Do they say?
I think it might have been Kubi. I don't know.
I mean, they all do a good job. I mean,
for the price point, it was just a very well done knife. This is the V1. This isn't the V2 that had the problems. But yeah, for a small knife, that one gets a little bit of pocket time, not a lot, but it gets some.
Yeah, I carried after watching Brian's video, I got my Chavez out, and I've carried it the last couple of days, my little street.
Yeah.
And that's a thicker knife that I normally carry, but I enjoyed carrying it. I need to do that more often. I was going to do a 30-day challenge where I just carried one knife. I want to do a video where I talk about my knife journey. Again, not to try to save anybody from some of the mistakes I made, but just talk about it. Because I wouldn't change. I can't get, for me, I could not get to where I was had I not gone through a pretty extensive budget knife phase. Because I think the budget knives is what really locked me in.
You all have to get there at some point or another. This is one that never, ever gets pocket time, and I don't know why, because I love this knife.
Oh, that's your MBK?
Yeah, that's the XLC, extra large carry, integral.
That's sweet, dude.
Yeah, they only did a small run. They didn't do these very long.
And they're still blowing and going pretty hard, aren't they?
From my understanding.
I haven't talked to Sanford. I didn't see him at Blade Show last year because I was just running through. But I've really been impressed with concepts, fit and finish. And I've got some older concepts like the Bulldozer that had good fit and finish, but the designs weren't that inspiring. That was one of the few that inspired me. But this Edgy Blade Works collaboration, I think that excites me as much as any knife I've held this year.
That is a cool design.
Well, it's just so original. You know, Said Stevie's the one that drew my attention. And then I think Forrest has one he posts quite a bit, and maybe Snuzz. But you know how much this knife is? $177, dude.
Yep.
It's only S35, but for me, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that, you know, that Scott's getting that his knife designs in more people's hands. I would have liked to see more of a mid-tech, but you can't bitch. He can do what he can do, and he can do what people pick up. And I like the fact that
it opens up a market that would normally have a chance, really.
Yeah, he's getting it into more people's hands, which I like.
Yeah, and hopefully, I think that will, you know, a lot of people say that dilutes your brand, but I don't think it does at all. I think there are a lot of people. I'm the living proof that went from a budget knockoff to, you know, a couple of Striders that wouldn't have done it had I not experienced it. So I think if somebody carried this knife and liked it, they would be much more likely to go after one of his knives. I know I would love to have one down the road.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that's a good one to have in the collection for sure.
But I mean, I guess you could see, no, I don't even see Nordsman in it, but to me, it's such a unique blade. Now, Concept on their website calls it a Warncliffe, which on my description of the unboxing, I call it a Tanto. But have you ever seen anything that looks like that?
Not exactly. I mean, it has somewhat of a little bit, I guess you could say, of Norseman vibes, just because it is kind of that recurve Tanto, but it's different enough. The only one that I have close is kind of a reverse of that, and that's this blade shape.
I like that. Is that a Wii?
Yeah, this is a TNT Customs design that we did.
That's a wicked Tanto.
Yeah, I like that blade a lot. And it's hard to see on camera, but there's a swedge up here, and so the grind lines. I don't know if I can get it close enough in there with the lighting to see it or not.
Yeah, it's like a triangle or it's a pyramid. It's not flat.
Yeah.
And then you got grind lines. I can see where it goes, like at a 45 from the hole.
The grind goes down there, and then it comes out to there as swedge as well too. It's a cool knife.
So is that all done with CNC? I mean, how do they?
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing everything CNC based.
I've been looking at a Rick Hinder Eclipse 3.5 Tanto S45. I love their S45. It's probably my favorite steel. 475. I think, what are they, 425?
Yeah, normally.
Eclipses are. I know XM18s are.
Yeah, Eclipses are the same.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find you that knife because I saw that somewhere. It might be here at DLT. Hold on.
No, don't go DLT because DLT only does the exclusive runs and they do 20 CV.
Okay, let me go to River's Edge. Do they carry that? I'll go to USA Blades.
I was going to say, go to USA Made Blades. They've got it, I'm sure. Or
here's some Hinders. I've seen a run of a lot of these autos. There's some Bowies, auto Eclipses. The autos are $650. All right, let's go to USA Made Blades. All right. Harpoon Spanto 425 right here, brother. S45 VN G10. Let me drop you a link. Because personally, I've only bought one or two of my hinders on the secondary. All my others I bought new because they hold their value so well.
Not anymore.
Well, when I was buying them, they were.
Yeah, I mean the market's down. I mean you can pick them up.
It sounds like if somebody's selling one for $475, they're trying.
Yeah, but
right?
but no, because his also said it comes with the copper scale.
Oh, did it? I thought he said G10.
No, look at the second. He put the thing at second.
Oh, that's $200 more. So now you're looking at a $625 knife.
More than that, because it's got the copper hardware kit too.
That's another 70 or 110. That's another 110.
Yeah, that's not a bad price at all.
Yeah, that's a great price. I want to take my listing down because I thought you said G10. I thought somebody was trying to get a old days when you couldn't find a hinderer.
Yeah, you can pick up a bone stock one now on the secondary for $3.25, $3.50.
Really?
Yeah.
It's getting hammered that hard. What are Sabenzas bringing on the secondary?
Large.
Large Sabenza.
Plain Jane, anywhere between $4 to $4.50.
Right. Okay. They're holding their value well. Medfords are probably getting hammered the most, right?
Medfords are about 50% off. But hell, a plain Jane's what, 6 something now from Chris Reed?
Yeah. They had a $40 price increase after Blade Show last year, right before Blade Show last year.
You can get a small in Cosi or a small Sabenza for right around $3.25.
Yeah, the small, it's not too small for my hand, but it's just like my small Barton Harsey. I just don't carry it as much because it is kind of petite. I mean, again, it fits my hand better than the large, but on those knives, I like them to be big. And I think Chris Reeves, when I get one, I want a full size. Yeah, Grimsmo's are bargains on the secondary. I didn't know Hinderers had taken a hit, but it makes sense when you see them in stock for so long. You can only imagine that they're not as desirable.
Are they really only 500? I thought they were more than that now. I knew the inlays were over 6. I thought that the plain Jane was right around 6. I could be wrong.
Let's Google it. Hold on. Oh, these I found these Prince Customs. Let me share them real quick because these are some very sexy knives, and there's so many knives that I don't know about that I don't like anything that's skeletonized, but the prices are in the $750, $760. Looks starting out.
Yeah.
RWL 34 lock bar insert. I've got some knives in RWL 34. Is that a good lock bar insert, Kyle?
I mean, it's a hardened steel. It works. I mean, that's a good steel. It's fine for it.
I mean, I think it's just odd that they even spec it.
Well, they're not using, just plain.
So here's one for $740.
Yeah, they're good price points for what you get.
20 CV. See, I like 20 CV. Why do they have CRKTs on here?
I don't know what website you're on.
Prince Customs?
No, I don't know.
I mean, that's just something that was an ad or something. That one's a harpoon. That's a different blade there.
Yeah.
Sheepsfoot harpoon. I like that, but I don't like the scale.
Dawson, that's what I was thinking. Sorry. I was thinking the glass blast with the studs.
Let's go Chris Reeves. Who would be I guess you had to probably go to a trade site or something. I don't know who does. So a new Sabenza. I'm not seeing any used. Where would Blade Forums? Where would be a good place to look at used? Here's one on Etsy.
I'm just going based off of Knife Swap and everything else. I wouldn't.
So Knife Swap, is that a website?
No, it's just Reddit. Dawson was just posted what they are new in chat.
Where's Dawson? There he is. Gotcha. Can you get to that other thumb stud on the back, or is it more tight to the scale? Like if you get them on both sides, are they balanced? The studs, I haven't looked at them close enough. Or is it one that you can easily reverse flick if you put a stud on both sides? Because I don't have a problem with one side.
You can get to the back one. Not, I wouldn't say. I mean, depends. This one's not broken in, so it's not really flickable. But you can get to the back on that one pretty easily.
Now, is that a Tonto Sabenza or is that a different make?
Yeah, it's Tonto.
And they make a Unenzon and Nkosi, right?
Yep.
And what are the? Is it just handled a little different? I don't know. I'm very uneducated on CRKs.
Yeah, Nkosi's handle hold their value the most out of all the models.
Because they're probably the rarest.
There's an Nkosi.
Oh, hold that up next to the Sabenza just so I can see the difference in the handles because the blades look similar. The Sabenza is more comfortable in the hand, isn't it? You've got that little, is that like a little finger splitter that makes your pointer finger and your other finger on the other one? No, on the other one. Does it have like a little double finger thing?
I mean, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's still comfortable. Both of these have that finish on them, so these aren't mine. These are in. What
are the difference like from their marketing position? What are the use cases of the different knives? Just look, or is there one got a better task than another one?
I would say that typically the Unenzon is known for more hard use.
Okay, so maybe thicker stock.
Yeah, it's definitely thicker stock. I mean, you can see that.
Okay.
The Sabenza is more of the gentlemanly carry.
Do the actions feel the same? Because I know that's what Sabenzas are known for.
Yeah, I mean they're smooth. Neither one of these are, I would say, well broken in. They're pretty tight still, but they're smooth though.
Todd, I had a chance to buy a Demco Blim in Nashville, and I regret it. My buddy A to Z bought a full tie one up there that was a slicer. I've got like 4 20.5s and then a 20S, the small one, the Shark Cub. But the only thing that holds me back, and I love a Shark Lock, I love Snex Lock, but I don't like the D10 as much as a frame lock. For some reason, on big beefy knives, I like a frame lock, and I know it's not the strongest lock.
I'm not a fan of Demcos. I know people love them and rave about them. I'm not a fan of them. I don't care for the locking system. I know it's strong. It's just personal preference as far as how it operates. I'm not a fan of it. But, it's to each their own. Everyone's got their own, that price point range. You got Parsees, which is a great knife, but I'm not a huge fan of either. You got your McNees, you got Hinders, you got Demcos, Chris Reeve, all in that.
Yeah, I hope all of them are healthy and doing well. I know it's kind of been a tough time in the knife market. I just say that because it seems like things stay in stock longer.
Yeah, everything's slow right now. I've been on a Tanto kick lately. That's kind of my roots, though. I've always been a Tanto fan.
I love the looks of them. I'm still nervous sharpening. I've got to get my confidence up because you've shown me how easy it is to do it.
This is another one that doesn't get much carry.
Is that a Brian Brown?
Yeah, that's the Corvus.
Ooh, that's pretty, dude. What kind of carbon fibers on the front of that?
Crosscut White Storm.
I like you. And Riot does his, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with the pricing.
Yeah, I've got a plain Jane Jaeger too that never gets much pocket time.
Well, one of my favorite knives. It doesn't get much time for me either, but I love it.
I wish it had about a half-inch longer handle, but other than that,
I'll tell you a knife that I think it was my budget knife of the year last year, but it was the Civivi collaboration with Brian Brown. If you look at those two blades, even though one was a Nitro V, for $55, what a great value on a great knife.
And I've been waiting to mod this, to do something with it. I just haven't figured out what I want to do. I got the full, I got a ton of hardware for it, blacked out hardware and pivot and all kinds of stuff.
Are you thinking color, or are you thinking rocking it out or something like that?
I don't know what I want to do yet. I've got a lot of them that are sitting there. Just I want to do stuff with. I haven't done anything with.
I forget which generation or who sent this one out. Everyday
That's
Carry
the V2. That was the
This is the Jaeger M.
Yeah, that was the Jaeger V2. That was the
Everyday Carry Specialties.
No, it was shoot.
I bought it on the secondary from a guy who bought two.
It wasn't Knife Joy. It was Knife. It was a website that used to be around. Now they're not around anymore.
Yeah, they're not around. I want to say it had something like Urban EDC, but I know it wasn't them. It was one of those specialty shops, but they had.
Yeah.
This is a great knife. And he's a really nice guy. I don't know if y'all have met Brian Brown. He goes to all the blade shows, but he also goes to the little smaller local shows where you can really kind of have some of their time and talk to him.
Yeah, him and Laconico are probably two of my more favorite designers.
Do you have a Raptor?
No, I had one for a little bit, but I didn't.
Wasn't one of your favorites?
No, I mean it's cool, but just I thought it was
handle's real thin.
Yeah, I thought it was overpriced for the build quality on that compared to the other ones he makes.
Yeah, and this one's a Smoky Mountain Knives exclusive, so it's got like.
I remember those, the toxic effect carbon scales.
Yeah,
yeah.
But I'd rather it have been full tie personally. Mike's Daily Carry, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Welcome to Insomniac Sit and Spin.
My favorite Raptor was the River's Knife, or River's Edge exclusive one they did with it was milled bronze and then had zirconium on it. Or not zirconium, I'm sorry, Zirc, black Zirc on it.
Let's see if I can find it. They usually keep them archived on their site. Jaeger. I was not crazy about the V3. I wasn't as crazy about it. And
there's one variation that I absolutely loved. And that was, I think that was the Knife Joy one. It's the one that Crispy got. That's the blue fat carbon with the Timascus.
Are you talking about that one? Or are you talking about one of the earlier?
I was talking about the Raptor from River's Edge.
My bad.
But it's the same makeup though. It's that bronze jigged with the
jig. Yeah, you'd call that jig. Let's see. Raptor. I like pinas. There it is. Yeah, that is good looking.
That was my favorite one of the bunch.
Yeah, I like that a lot better than the carbon fiber on one side. I'll tell you, he does some cool exclusives, but I don't go to them much. Cutlery Shop. Y'all shop there much?
No, I like if you like pinas, the one had Crane's Cutlery carries some really cool pinas.
What did I just say? Because that's who I meant.
You said Cutlery Shop.
Okay, I meant Crane's.
Crane's Cutlery. Yeah, they got some cool stuff.
Let me go there. Where are they located, I wonder?
I think they're out west. I've got a Alacron right now that's in pieces, but I like pinas, but I don't like the fact that most of them are small.
Yeah, the one my buddy A to Z had was the large. I'm trying to think which one. It was a large Raptor, and it was a really good size. I've got a regular Raptor.
I've got the
647. That's Smoky Tie.
That is possibly the worst knife that he's ever made.
The kickstop?
Yes, the knife is trash.
Yeah, the only kickstop that I've tried, and I really liked it, was on the Jared, what's it called? Jared Oyster, the one that looks kind of like
Ozer,
yeah.
The F22, that's good. The kickstop part in itself is not bad, but on the Chavez one, when you look at it, the plunge is so bad, it actually goes ahead of the end of the termination.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, the F-22 is awesome. That's a great little, I mean, slim knife.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the carbon fiber's inset into it.
So you're familiar with Superlative?
Yes.
Okay. Superlative is 3 designers. That is Pena, that is Jared Oser, and that is one of Pena's understudies, who is a custom knife maker who does phenomenal stuff now, Javi Garcia.
I did not know that because I've got their little Hella, their little fixed blade.
Yeah. Javi Garcia makes some of the
Later,
most
Neil. Have
incredible
a good night, bud.
slip joints out. I love his stuff. I don't own slip joints, but if I were to get a custom one, it'd probably be from him.
Superlative, that spells Suprlativ, I think.
Correct.
Let me go there. Go here and check them out. Look at some knives. Let's look at some knives, people.
Yeah, that's the reason why I got the Alacron, was because that was the largest Pena he made. It's like 3.
I've got Cutlery Shop. We'll go look at that too. Oh yes. I mean, there's some of those folders. I've got that little red guy right there.
Yeah.
I like this. Yeah, those are sick, dude. Who's making these, I wonder? Riot?
I don't know. Probably.
Yeah, they've got so I guess they're more small batch, I guess, than what they put out.
They
I
just,
see them kind of cool.
drops. I love the Tyrant.
Yeah, that's that looks very I like that better.
Yeah, it's sword inspired.
Yeah, it looks like a little like what do you call those little swords that the Japanese used to do Harry Carry with? A Kubota?
I don't know the name, so I don't want to butcher it, but there's so
Like
many different. No, there's so many different ones that.
And that's pretty sick too. That reminds me of, I wonder how long that knife is. That reminds me of an
that's a slip joint.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is that this one you said that if you were going to get a slip joint, you'd get?
No, I'm talking about one of Hobby's actual customs. He's on Instagram if you want to look him up on there.
I've seen this knife before.
Yeah.
It's got a weird handle.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't like it, but I give it credit for being innovative.
Yeah. What did some of them have serrations, or did I just?
Yeah, some did and some don't.
I'm not a serrations guy. Let's do this real quick. Let's go. And this little knife is a banger. I thought it was kind of high for what it was, but it is a comfortable little knife. I think it's very well designed. And it sits in your pocket because it's got this little slip in it, so thin. Yep. It's a great back pocket knife. So what was his name, buddy? Let me stop sharing. Let me start sharing again.
Yeah, if you go to Instagram, it is JAVI Garcia.
It's probably with 193,000 followers.
Have to look. Yeah, just click on that one first and see which one it is. No, that's not it.
It's private. Let's go back to 194,000. Seems like a lot, don't it?
Let me see if I can find it while you're looking.
Javi Garcia. I do it without a space. Yeah, no. Instagram has the worst search function.
It's just under here. I'll put it in the private chat for you.
All right.
It's under Garcia Knives. Copy private chat. There you go.
I got it. Stop sharing and start sharing. Oh, wow. Yeah, stuff like that, like Donnie's pictures or that, to me is so impressive to see it in that form and then to see what it becomes.
And he does some amazing work.
So are these all, would you call these just, they're handmade, it looks like?
Yeah.
That's sexy.
Yep.
What, like, are these 1,000, 1,200, 1,900?
I couldn't tell you because I don't really ever remember seeing one.
950 sold.
Okay. Unless I don't remember seeing one on the secondary.
ABEL, AEBL. That's my dyslexia. Hey, look at that. I'm not a. That's interesting, isn't it? To have both blades on. Is that normal? I guess it is.
I'm not a slip joint guy, but I like his design language a lot. And I like his craftsmanship.
Yeah, I think it's hard. And so is this one of his handmade ones too? Oh, yeah, first custom. 850. That looks, I like the look of that little spear point. Let's see what's happening on the homepage. Uh-oh. We could stream Cutlery Shop. I'm kidding. That must be that new Tuya that just hit the site with that crystallized titanium. I'm not a fan, but
it's pretty gaudy.
Yeah. But they make it's a special process. I don't know how they do it. It's called crystallized, which I don't know if it's just anodized on top of something. That is sick. Did you see that Stevie was showing?
No, but that is cool that they're doing that.
Yeah, I think it is too. Magna Cut, and the next run is going to be 154 cm. A DeVille.
I'd rather.
Okay. So,
how do you fast forward these?
Pretty big announcement.
I
So,
don't know that you can.
one of the issues that I've run into, and it's a great,
Not taking too long. I've lost interest. There's one of Jason's knives. Now that looks really cool. I've never seen that design. The Hawk. Have y'all seen Scott's Hawk? Aries EDC?
No.
What do y'all think about the pretty harsy, but they are very thick behind the edge.
They're nice reground. I've seen a couple of them come through their reground. They're pretty awesome. I like the design on that one though.
Yeah, that's got a little chode right there. It's got a cool story behind it. This guy, Donald Pace, is Tim Kell's father-in-law. It's his wife's dad who's got brain cancer. And this is a knife like this he carried for about 20 years. And they were able to get it from him and make kind of a commemorative little knife. It's the DP1. It's tiny, but it's thin, 2-finger knife. Another Aries. I follow some different people. There's a.
I love that.
What is that?
It's a Davlis.
What'd you call it?
A Davlis. It's a. I hate that I don't have to say this, but it's a French custom maker. That the model name is the Davlis.
That's gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, he makes some phenomenal stuff. He's the one that did. So that knife they did a run of that with CKF. And even the CKF versions were like 700 to 800. But yeah, he does some amazing stuff though.
Very specific mechanical reason why I had to plug the D10. Otherwise, the knife would not function as intended. And the reason is because this is a liner lock without a gap in the outer scale. So what that means is that when this bar moves over, if it's touching the outer scale during the closing action and it's rubbing, then that's going to create friction and it's not going to be able to close smoothly. So obviously, this liner cannot fully touch the outer scale. There either has to be a gap cut out inside the outer scale, or the detent ball needs to be.
Brian's so smart, or he just seems to be smart.
That's a David LeSpec. Yep, Marcel knew it. Remy makes phenomenal knives too, Luke, and so does FDT. I can't pronounce his name, but there's some really cool French designers. If
you've got a McNeese Mac 2, these thick washers are about $8 a set, and they make a set for the McNeese. You just swap them out, and they are money.
Luke, yeah, the CKF one was okay, but it was way overpriced for what you're getting.
Hey, did you see that we cloned direwolves?
They're trying to. That's a horrible idea.
No, dude, they did. They got the cup ups. Let me show you.
I've seen the pups, but I'm saying it's a horrible idea.
Oh, I agree, because that's like a huge. It was like the biggest wolf out there, right?
Yeah, but they're trying to make them as pets, which is.
Oh, I thought they were just trying to bring it out of extinction.
People were trying to sit there and say that they want them to keep pushing forward to make them as pets.
Oh, dude, that's insane.
Yeah.
So are these are like ones that were born from that DNA and that wolf DNA that they cloned it with, right?
I believe so. I saw it earlier. I haven't read into it.
Not watching on CNN because it's too laggy. Go to YouTube.
They're cute little animals, though, for now.
Baby, all babies are cute, you know? I'll tell you what I've been watching, and it's embarrassing to say, but I've been watching the Eagle Nest. Do y'all ever watch that? The live Eagle Nest with the babies?
I don't get into birds.
Dude, these are like majestic. The other day, I watch it live, and they have some channels that just do highlights. They put this webcam up there, right? So for a month, there were 3 eggs up there. The 3 eggs hatched. One of the babies in a snowstorm, the runt, fell out of the nest. So there are only 2 babies. The babies are huge now. But looking back over here in the daylight, there's a sound. So we've got a webcam right up in this tree. And the other day, a crow, here's the babies. A crow came around, not a crow, a raven. And Daddy Eagle took off to chase it off. And then he comes back and feeds it to the babies. See how big that baby is?
Yeah. We had a similar thing here at one of our parks. We had bald eagles, and for almost a year, they had up cameras up there and trying to watch it. And obviously it was restricted, but.
That's so cool, though. I mean, I think if you've ever seen an eagle, those things are huge.
Yeah.
Freaking huge. But they, a peregrine, what is it called? Peregrine falcon can take them out. All right, I was going to go to
birds that are bigger than eagles, but just they're tough. The knife nut, I absolutely 100% agree.
Did I lose you? Nope.
No, I'm here.
I lost
it. But when Verizon announced that I could lock in a low price for 3 years, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I hate having to wait this long. I used to run ads for clients, and I would tell them if you ever do over a 15-second ad, you should try to do a 7-second because customers will hate your brand if they have to wait.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Turned out a remarkable scientific breakthrough. 13,000 years.
Oh, 13,000 years in the making. In a first for science, biotech.
See, I thought they were not extinct that long ago. That's even more scary. That it was 12,000 years ago. I mean, and I didn't know that they were also in.
That was the big thing in Game of Thrones.
Yeah. From HBO's hit show Game of Thrones.
And you know what else is a big thing? Watch this.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'll let you hear John Mayer. He's more your speed.
No, he's not. I'm gonna mute it either way.
But they got a song, and it's all Dead songs are old Americana, but it's called Dire Wolf, and it's about the dire wolf coming to collect his dues.
Yeah, I don't. The fact that people want to have crazy wild animals like that is ridiculous.
A, I didn't know that that was a goal, and B, I didn't know that that was a possibility. I know people that like rehab wolves and stuff sometimes have trouble keeping them, you know, and they have to release them. How could that be even thought of as being ethical? I mean, because what would keep you from getting a dinosaur if you were a reptile person?
Well, so when I was growing up, my uncle had a buddy who had a farm, and he raised for here was kind of random stuff like ostriches and different things, and he would also occasionally get into some really wild stuff. And one time I was over there, and he has it like this. I wouldn't call it a shed. It was bigger than a shed, but it was like a small barn. And he's like, "Come on in here and take a look." And we get in there, and there's open the door, and we don't see anything. I mean, there's straw on the ground and stuff, and probably about chest high for an adult. There's a ledge that was running around the entire outside of the building total inside the building. And we shut the door and we turned around, and standing on that ledge behind the door was I guess a kid. It wasn't a baby, but it wasn't an adult. Black Panther.
Holy shit, dude. How, like a teenager?
Probably like a year or two old. I mean,
had he been rescued as from a baby?
No, this guy was getting and selling animals on the black market.
Right. So if he was an animal trader, what this animal probably been captured when he was little? What I'm getting at, was he a sweet panther, or was he like sizing y'all up for your weaknesses while y'all were looking at him?
The guy, he didn't say, but I can tell you, I almost crapped my pants as a 10 or 12-year-old. It was scary to look at. And then we went there another time, and the guy also had a baby bear cub.
Oh man.
I mean, talk about adorable. Baby bear cubs are so cute, but the fact that you think about how much that thing weighs, and it just maul you
and
to
the
death.
power in their paws.
But the look that Black Panther gave you, I mean, it just stared through your soul. It was,
and they're like bright yellow eyes, right?
Yes.
They're beautiful animals. Bear cub.
Yeah, I mean, if it shut its eyes, you wouldn't see it anywhere in the dark. It was just completely jet black.
And there's some amazing, I'm sure y'all watch them, but there's some amazing footage of them hunting out in the wild. Here you go. This is too good. I'm going to share this.
But that goes back to my point, is the fact that people out there doing that is ridiculous.
And you would think that there's a huge, and I know you're probably signing a waiver, but that you would want to have it domesticated to some extent, unless somebody's just putting it in a cage, in which case it's horrible. Have you seen this?
They shouldn't be out in the wild, or they shouldn't be out in for domestication at all. They should be completely captive or wild.
Well, look at what's happened in the Everglades. So check these two best. I mean, they're so cute, dude.
There was one of that with like a duck and a wolf or something like that, where they were raised together.
Yeah, I mean, these guys get big together and continue to be buddies. Because you watch that tiger, he's not putting his claws out. He's soft pawing him. And I love when little bears stand up. But I just love it when animals from different species fuck with each other.
Yeah, when you get to wild animals like that, they need to be
wild.
Captive or wild in their natural habitat. Don't domesticate them. That's a horrible idea. Things are going to go wrong.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and what surprised me, I think, that was an eye opener for me. It was probably 20 years ago, but when that chimp ripped that lady's face off, remember?
Oh, dude, they are some of the most vicious. Even the little small monkeys,
like Reese monkeys.
absolutely vicious. There was a problem with them. Was it in South Africa or someplace where they were having issues? They were coming up trying to steal people's kids out of the parents' arms, and then but they would come in like groups of them, like 10 or 12 of them,
Gangs.
yeah, and just absolutely destroying people. Like there's one video of dad trying to fight it off, and it just like ripped them to shreds.
Dude, it's terrifying. I used to watch a lot of Joe Rogan, and he had a guy on that was a chimpanzee specialist, and they were talking about how chimpanzees hunt baboons, and they've got like footage from this guy that studied them in their natural habitat, and they're actually carnivorous too because they hunt little monkeys, and they do it in gangs, right? And then they just basically, when they catch the monkey, they had video of this. It's on YouTube. I'm not going to show it, but they rip the monkey apart, basically, the little monkey.
Yeah.
And chimps are just, because I look at them as kind of little, I always think of Bubbles, Michael Jackson's chimp.
Right. But those things are so strong pound for pound. I mean,
oh, yeah.
It literally could grab it with his hand and rip your face off.
No doubt. No doubt. And you would think that you never know if they're holding a grudge, right? Nobody knows what they think about you. I mean, it's hard enough to know what a cat thinks about you.
Every animal like that's been put in captive is always turned at some point or another, as far as like the general consensus, like just don't do it. Siegfried and Roy, the guy that lived with the bears, like they at some point nature takes its course.
Or the lady that lived with the gorillas, what was her name?
Oh yeah.
She was real famous. I forget her name. Didn't she get eaten by the gorilla? Didn't that the gray-headed lady?
You're talking about from Gorillas in the Mist?
I think so.
Documentary?
But her real name, I'm trying to think. Let me type in gorilla lady. Hold on, because she was I didn't see Gorillas in the Mist, but I think it may have been based on her story. Jane, Jane Goddell.
Yeah.
Jane Goodell.
She was trying to teach him sign language.
Let's see what happened to her. Go to Wikipedia. No, she doesn't have a Wikipedia.
Merso, you love it.
I wonder if she for some reason I thought she got eaten.
I don't know about that.
Oh no, I think I know what happened to her. It was the militia gorillas. I think she might have been killed by people. She was trying to protect the gorillas, and there were a lot of people poaching them. And I think,
I don't think that's the same.
She didn't live with the great apes, Mersalt.
I don't think.
Who am I thinking about? Hold on. Lady who lived with great apes. Diane Fossey. You're right. So Diane Fossey was an American primatologist, mountain gorilla groups from 1966 until her murder in 1985. Yeah, she's the one that was killed by the people that were poaching the gorillas. So you're exactly right. Goodell is the chimps, and I think she was teaching them stuff. But this lady lived out with them, and I think, was this Gorillas in the Mist? Yeah, that's what Gorillas in the Mist was about.
Yeah, I thought so.
But tragically, she was in the Congo, and I don't know if it was during I guess Congo's always in war, right?
For the most part. What was I going to say? They're talking about, yeah, I know, like, right now there's a huge overrunning of baboons in South Africa because there's a lot of guys that go out there. You can, hunt them, and it's pest control. They're trying to take them out because they just destroy crops. They destroy a lot of the farmers and stuff out there.
You know what I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it makes sense. Like, all the feral hogs and stuff that they hunt by the droves because they're just overrunning them.
Yep.
I've heard that that's a losing battle. Same with other animals that run in herds like that. Like if you kill one or several, the women go into heat. Have you ever heard anything like that? And then they reproduce.
I don't know that I've heard that myth, but I don't know that it's true or not. But I say at that point, you just shoot more.
Yeah, I mean, they're almost everywhere now. And dude, I've seen some videos on YouTube where people like shoot them and those things charge them right till the end.
Well, that's because they're not shooting with the right caliber. Boars and wild hogs are extremely tough animals. You can't just hit them with a small caliber and expect it to
Knife
get
nut, you're right, because coyotes are the ones that do the roll call, right?
Yeah.
So like they do a roll call at the end of each night, and if somebody gets missing from their pack or whatever, they start reproducing or whatever.
I just know that they're known to do that. I don't know. I'm not a animal expert, so I'm not going to claim it, but I know that's been said that they do that.
Do hogs control?
Yeah, but you hit a hog with a powerful large caliber rifle, and it's going down instantly.
Well, do
I've seen it.
Like if you're in the brush, are you doing it with pistols or with rifles?
No. You're doing it
Like
with
a 44 or a 50 caliber Desert Eagle wouldn't do it.
You're not doing it. Well, I mean, maybe if you hit the right shot, but you're not doing it with a pistol. You're taking out there. You're out there with rifles.
But like if I've seen when they're walking through the bush, I know when they're in helicopters they are, but it seems to me it'd be hard for me to get a rifle up to my shoulder than it would a handgun.
Well, you're not walking through the bush super close to get them. You're waiting for them to come out, and when they're running, and you hit them then. If you don't go in them after them unless you. But yeah, if you hit one and you go in and you're trying to chase a blood trail, then you have a large knife or you have a high caliber pistol.
That's where the pig sticker comes in, I guess.
Correct.
Does anybody ever use large caliber shotguns, or is that not enough?
I think you're probably not wanting to do that because you're destroying too much of the animal.
I got you. Because are they edible?
I don't know that. I've never.
Well, I got a little news from Google.
What's that?
It says, while shooting feral hogs can temporarily reduce localized population, it's generally not considered an effective long-term population control method because it often leads to increased population growth in the long run because of their high reproductive rates.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that a difference between would they continue that reproductive rate even if you didn't shoot them, and even if they didn't, what's the value of the overrunning of crops and farmland?
Oh, true. It says trapping's more effective. It says hunting educates hogs. Hunting can make feral hogs more wary and nocturnal, causing them to move new areas and potentially increase the population in those areas. Trapping is generally considered a more effective method for controlling feral hog populations.
Well, that's why right now there's a huge push for using NVGs and hunting at night for hogs. And that's been going around for years, where they go out like down like Texas and Arkansas and that kind of stuff. They'll go out at night with night vision and thermals and actually hunt at night because they have a better opportunity because they'll actually come out and you can see them.
Right. And you catch them when they're more docile too. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. 308. Best salami you ever had was wild boar, really?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you could or not. I mean, I've heard things, but I've never had it myself, so I wasn't going to claim it.
Oh, what was getting your cats? Were you saying coyotes? See, I've got coyotes in my neighborhood, and I've got a P322 that's beside me at all times, just in case. That's my coyote pistol.
I'd want something bigger, personally.
I've got a 365 right beside it, but I think it'd be too noisy in the city limits.
Yeah, but at what point does it matter if you're not engaging super close?
Well, I've got 20 chances.
Yeah, but you still have to count for the 19 others.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true. And again, for me to engage it, it would have to be it would have to have Tippy and be really close.
Right, and that's very, very small circumstances.
Right.
And unless you're almost point blank with that 22, it's just going to piss it off.
True. I only got it to go to the range and not spend $100 each time. It makes a huge difference, but it doesn't feel the same running rounds through a 22.
No, I mean, it gives you the same general idea, but you're not getting the same belt recoil for recoil control and mitigation. And
I'll usually put 50 or 100 through my P365. I've got a little, what's the old 380 that looks like a Walther?
PPK?
Yeah, no, it's not a PPK. It's a SIG.
The P 238.
Yep. That's a great little gun. So I'll go out and I'll put rounds through all three of them, but most of my rounds go through the 22 just because it's economical. Yeah, you're right. Probably right, Paul. And coyotes are usually pretty shy. The one I saw was right across the street in the cemetery from my house. And I swear to God, I went to Google to see if wolves came this far south because this thing was huge. But I live across the street from about a 10 block by 3 block cemetery that I don't know how many bodies. Let me Google something. It's huge. But anyway, there's a huge population of deer that hang out in there, coyotes, because at night they come right down from the mountain. And you think of all the squirrels, the rabbits, the food that's out there. But they walk like into the neighborhoods too. I've had deer in my yard. I've seen those coyotes. Let's do this.
I live just close enough to a civilization that I don't get too many coyotes. We don't even hear them. We get deer and stuff, but that's about
Dude,
it.
I'm in the city limits of Huntsville, Alabama. I just happen to be close to Montesano Mountain. And we've never seen mountain lions. They've caught them on trail cams, but it is, there's a hospital like right down the street too. So these guys have gotten used to it. So this is about 100 acres. This cemetery is. I don't know how big that is. It's big looking at it, but there are 80,000 people sleeping over there. There's a Civil War section, but you think about it, it's like almost like a nature reserve. If you want squirrels, because there are all kinds of hawks over there.
I'm pretty fortunate when it comes to that. We don't have a ton of wildlife.
That's always, for me, it's kind of, I enjoy like when my raccoons come up or my possums, but with that, you get the other stuff too. And I'm sure there are bobcats around. I got tracked by a bobcat once.
Yoko, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I missed that one too. I don't get that. Paul, A to Z has lost 2 cats that he kept on his screened-in porch, and he thinks they were foxes that got him. But I think he had to have kind of slow cats because I can't imagine anything getting Tippy. Tippy's fucking thug, man. And cats are quick. Aren't you in Dayton?
Near it, yeah. But
Near. Oh, that's right. Because I guess
he's going to do for me. Yeah, he's like 35 minutes from me. I just didn't know what you meant by what's he going to do for me. That's all.
Has he been clocking coyotes in his spare time?
I don't know. I've not.
Rat-tat-tat-tat late at night with the gat. Oh, he's animal control in Dayton.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either. That's pretty cool. That'd be a cool job.
See, you enlightened me, Yoko. I did not know that. Sorry, I didn't get your reference.
And thank you for clarifying, because I learned something in every one of these lives. I remember being in, was it Lefty's Live that Beast was first in, or was it Tri-States? I forget. I was attacked by a bobcat once, but I got chased off by a deer. They were both skid loader. It definitely counts. I was in South Alabama, down on the bay, down on Mobile Bay, and I was down there for work, and the lady, I worked for this place called Pro Image Installers, and I was staying at this lady's bay house. She had like a second home, and it was a bay house that she let people, when they came down for conferences and stuff, stay in. So it was a concrete or a paved road. And then when you got to the bay, it was a gravel road. And about 300 yards down, there were gates, down along the gravel road that would take you to the different bay houses. They were all sectioned off. And I was skateboarding all the time. So I traveled with the skateboard. And after work one day, I went out to the road, walked down the gravel road, started skating back towards the main highway, and saw something poke its head out of the woods. And it was a cat. And at first I thought it was just a cat because it was kind of far behind me. And I kept skating, and I noticed it was getting closer, following me on the left side of the woods. And when it got up beside me, just walking, not coming into the road, but kind of creeping, I saw it was a bobcat. So I picked up my skateboard and started heading back. And the whole time I'm thinking, man, I'm about to have to get off the skateboard and walk down this gravel road. That little son of a bitch followed me the whole way. And I swear to God, he was sizing me up for my weaknesses to see if he could take me. But even though it was a small cat, I'd say it's probably maybe 30 pounds. It was intimidating.
It'd still destroy you.
Oh, God, yes. Absolutely.
You'd have to be lucky and catch it with a one good swat with the truck of your skateboard.
Yeah, I'd have to swing it hard. I'm afraid I'd be too girled out running the other way. So, Kyle, what you got going on, buddy? You just working on knives this week and other stuff?
Yeah, I've just got a ton of knives I've been trying to crank out, get some stuff ready to go, and then got more to ship out tomorrow, and then more knives to sharpen. So I'm just trying to stay on top of this because I try to keep my turnaround times the same, but with these big orders, it can put you behind a little bit. So
that's understandable.
And especially when it's something like, not that I don't take caution, but when you have something that's completely freshly done blade, I'm just trying to be very, very cautious of anything. So this takes a little bit longer.
I was going to show you guys, TS Prof just got back in. They got restocked on their Alpha stones. They are fantastic stones. And Kyle, what I was going to get you to help me do is pick out 3. Don't you think I could get by with 3?
You can get by with 3 stones. I would do 2 of the Alpha stones and 1 of another stone.
When you say another, like one to profile with?
Yeah, the one I would get for profiling is the Poltava silvers, and then I would get the Alpha stones for your follow-up stones, for your more of your medium to polishing stones. I don't think Gritomatic's got them.
Who's got them?
USA-market.net.
The other thing I was going to ask is, I was talking about the grip patterns that or the slurry that I think I'm getting or something. The scratches. Do you think I need to always start with my lowest grit stone, or do you think I could start with my second stone? Would that make a difference?
Go to CBN stones.
Okay, CBN. That's a wheel. Oh, hold
on. That shouldn't make a difference. So
it wouldn't. So starting with one grit lower shouldn't.
No, that shouldn't make a difference as far as the slurry. Go to, you're looking for one that says silver. I think it's down at the bottom. At least it used to be. All right, there you go.
Right here.
You go back 1 page. I want to see what the two of them listed. I want to see what the difference of them was.
There's a light. There's a vitrified bond and a vitrified metal bond. What's the difference?
I have the. Let me verify it, but I've got the.
It looks like the vitrified is about $100 or $20 less.
I've got that one, I do believe. Yeah, that's one I've got.
What grit would you say you get this in the coarse grit?
I would go. Let me see what they've got. They've got 160. I would do 240 probably, because it cuts way faster than 240. It cuts faster than my Benieve F80s.
So if you got
I would do
240,
240 in what I've been using recently is a 240 in that silver, and then I go to the F240 in the alpha, and then F600 in the
and I
alpha.
noticed they had different because is it the mesh that you're looking for? The two.
Yeah. So when you're looking at it, says the
Here's
mesh.
the 240 right there. It's sold out right now.
Yeah, I'll do 240 and then 600.
600. I got you. So if they didn't have the 240, 180, is that close or is that much grittier? I don't know how they range.
That's reasonably close. The 240 of the Silverstone from Poltava will leave a little bit of a rougher finish, not crazy. But the 240 from the Alpha Stone will definitely give it a finer finish.
Well, I've noticed just between the diamond stones that I used for the first time with the TS Prof and the Neves that they cut totally differently. Todd, I've got the TS Prof diamond plates, and I've also got the Neve Scorpion stones and an Atoma plate, but those are both all 4-inch, those last ones I mentioned.
Yeah, you could get away with those 3 stones and you could get a very good working edge all the way up to a light polish. Like that F600 I can get is, let's see. I don't know if that'll show up on camera or not, but that's.
See, that's so slick. To me, that's mirrored, and I know it's not mirrored, but that's as polished as I'd ever want.
Yeah, that's the F600. And then I've got all the way up to 12,000 grit.
And then do you have if you finish with the F600, you take another stone to hone with, right? You don't hone with that F600, do you?
I would usually go up 1 stone, but if you only had that as your last stone, I'd just stay with that as your last stone to hone with.
To just get it to where your stropping's less.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Kyle, we've been going a little over 3 hours, dude. It's after 1. You ready to call it?
Yeah, I'm good. I just was coming in to show off a couple things, but I wasn't meaning to keep you.
No, dude, you're not keeping me at all. Like I say, I can sit here and when I talk to myself, it's just odd. I always like having somebody, especially somebody that's got knowledge. And I'm going to be the knowledge bomb guy once I get that book digested. I'm going to be dangerous, but I'm not going to be presumptive. I'm just learning for me.
The thing about the book you have to understand, Javon, is it gives you a lot of information, but a lot of it is not
applicable or practical.
It's not of a relative discussive.
Like all things aren't equal.
Matter.
Looking at the numbers in the book.
That always, I mean, it gives you the information, but at what point does that matter to the common layfolk? It doesn't.
No, it doesn't, and I'm not looking for it to regurgitate it.
Right, and that's what
I have a deeper understanding of it. So
that's what I'm getting at. Because when people read the book and think that that's it, then that's not what the book's about. The book's about giving you information. When you take that information and use it in an application is when you get the information, get the true knowledge. The information in there is great, but it's not the end all be all.
No, it's kind of telling you how things work in what they consider to be the ideal environment for what they're trying to accomplish with those numbers, from what I can tell.
Todd,
and I've only read it on the website.
They do, Todd. They do on those. So like when it says 240, it'll actually give you I don't know if you can see it, the grit rating underneath there. So it's a 60/40.
So why is it 60/40? Is that because
it's the range?
I got you.
The grits are at. And then on my Poltava, let me see if it's So the Poltava is 100/80. Mine's 225.
Those stones are sweet.
But it's different. They cut differently. So to sit there and say that one, you take the one and it going to translate to exactly the other. So no, so like I'm going from 225 to 240, but the micron size changes enough to where it makes a difference. And
you're actually getting smoother.
And the alphas polish better than they polish like a Veneve, because that's I won't go there, but they polish like a Veneve, so they polish really well, but they don't cut as fast as the Poltavas. But the Poltava is designed to be more of that hardworking coarse stone.
Do you like 90% of the time use the same stones, or are you switching them out based on steels quite a bit?
I mean, these stones will work on any steel, so I'm not switching out a whole lot with these. If I need a different type of if I'm jumping to different grits, I may switch in between which ones I'm going, but I'm not
absolutely mad.
I'm not picking up like going from a totally different range of stones just because these stones I'm using will cut anything. So
why not? Yeah. So just use those, get good with those. And I would think it makes a lot more sense.
If I had something special, like, if I've got thin stones, if I'm doing a deep recurve, that kind of stuff, I've got other things for specific use cases, but
right. And I can see why you would want a thinner stone, but I was just thinking more about your different makes of stones, right?
No, like, so I mean, I really haven't been using my two-sided Veneves at all. I've got I can't remember the name of them.
The dog, or what are they called?
No, the dog is a 4-inch. The scorpions, not scorpions. Scorpions are the smaller ones. I don't remember that. Shoot, I can remember the name. I can't remember the name of them, but
they're called. Hold on, that's going to bother me now, and I want to be able to sleep with the.
They're on Gritomatic, or they were.
Yeah, I'm on Gritomatic. Industrials, Centaurs.
Centaurs, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got the full set of the Centaurs, and I don't use those at all anymore.
Just because these do so much better, you know the difference.
Yeah, they're better, and I don't have to go through, because you don't have to jump every single grit. I mean, like, you can take it, you can jump. We talked about this before. You can jump from one to the next. So, like, if I'm going 240 to 600 versus I don't need to go 240, 400, 600. You can jump one stone, but you don't want to be jumping like 240 to 1500. You know what I mean? It's
right. Because you're not, yeah, I can see that. Do you think the reason those stone sets come with so many stones is so you've got that flexibility, or do you think the intention is to run it through however many in sequence?
So if you're going to do something like a full-on mirror, then I would suggest running through the full sequence, because all you're trying to do is get out the scratch pattern of the last stone. The bigger you make that jump, the harder it is to get the grit pattern out of that last scratch, or the scratch pattern out of that last grit. So if I'm going to do a mirror, then I'm going to try to take less jumps, so therefore I'm working enough on each grit to get rid of the one before it.
So that when you get down to that final one, you're polishing it without as much effort, because you've taken all the lower or higher grit scratching down with each stone.
So if you go through the progress and you're not spending enough time getting the scratch pattern out from before, once you get to the more highly polishing stones, you'll see that the scratches are still there. You can't get them out. So the only thing you have to do is go back down to where the last scratch pattern was to get out, work that out, and then go back up again. And if you miss any one during that time frame, then you got to go back down again.
And you're always using magnification when you're checking that, I guess. Your eye won't really do it, will it?
Well, no, sometimes you won't even see it until you get a stone or two up in the polishing, and then you see it and you go, shit, I got to go back down, because it's actually, there are still some left. So
interesting.
And there's a difference between like a hazy mirror and a full true on mirror. Like, it's not, I don't know.
Is it cosmetic more than anything else, or does it make it cut better?
it's 100% cosmetic. In certain cases, does a polish matter more? It'll help certain steels, yes, but not to the point where it's so drastic that you can't go lower. So like if I'm taking a crew wear, I want to polish a crew wear blade because it takes a better finish at a polish. But they don't. But if I'm saying like if I'm taking a crew wear up to 2,000 or 3,000, that's good. But I don't need to take it to 12. Does that make sense? Like there's a point of diminishing returns. It doesn't make any difference.
And yeah, I guess you would get to a point to where you're taking down the performance. It's probably got an optimal.
Well,
and maybe
certain steels react differently, so they'll actually take a polish and hold it better than other steels. So I mean, you can take any steel and run it at a working 600 grit, 800 grit, whatever, and it'll be fine. 240 grit doesn't matter. You can take any of them to that range and it'll be okay. But as you go up, certain ones have a tendency to hold that fine, keen edge longer. So that's why we say that steel takes a polish better, because it holds that fine edge longer before it gets into the toothy working edge. But as we've discussed in the past, you can still keep a tooth to a polished edge.
Right.
So yeah, Todd, that's why when you see, like, you're not going to see, you're not going to go 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,500. You're going to start seeing jumps as you go up because there's not that drastic of a difference in your micron. Yeah, that's why. So a lot of times on a simple polish is, if I'm taking it to a polish, it's 1,500, at the very high end, 3,000. Like I don't need to go out more than that, and a polish will still, to the naked eye and to most people, it'll still look like a mirror.
Do you ever use those lapping strips?
No.
Or is that something that's like from the past before stones got to be so good? Or is there still a place for those lapping strips?
I don't see a place for them personally.
Yeah.
When I have a stone that's not going to wear out like a lapping film, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then the only other time so like we always discuss about using a lower micron than you think you need to when stropping, because you're spending your time honing it with the last stone. That's the only time I'll go in progressions of strops, is when I'm actually trying to get a high polish, because I'm specifically trying to work on getting that scratch pattern out of there
all the way with your strops.
And that's only when I'm doing it for like that. Otherwise, it's actually making the knife duller. So,
have you seen those stroppy strops that Gritomax started carrying that are different colors for different progressions?
Yeah, that's just so that way it makes it easier to track
to identify them, right? You put your compound on the color that
you take a freaking piece of paper, like a label from a label maker, tape it and write it on there what it is, and you don't have to worry about it. You there? Was it just me or you froze?
The same. Kyle, can you hear me?
I got you now. You froze. I couldn't. You weren't moving, and I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I got you now.
Somehow audio. Now I can hear you. That was weird. What happened?
Yeah, you were cutting in and out, and you completely the screen froze as well too.
All right, we're out of here, guys. I'm having technical difficulties.
Later.
I love each and every one of you. Kyle, you got anything to say?
Nope. Take care.
All right, dude. I'll see you Friday, guys. Do me a favor. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. And always keep loving your heart. Choose debate, not hate. And try not to get triggered. I love you all.
Back in my bag, yo. Conscious. ISO. Diamond. Back in my bag and I gotta brag. I do this shit for real. And we was down and